The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians. Apply today at standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
The best thing about me, bar none, is if somebody comes up to me and says, I can't stop drinking, can you help me? I can say yes and follow up and do it. That's the best thing. And I've said this for a long time. When I die, I don't want friends to be the first thing that's mentioned. I want that to be the first thing that's mentioned. And I'm going to live the rest of my life proving that.
Could she be more out of my league?
Look at me. I'm Chandler. Could I be wearing any more clothes?
Oh, in class, whoever parked in my space, thank you. I enjoyed the walk.
You're welcome.
Yeah, there's nothing like an hour in the rain.
Oh, wait. Oh, I get it. You're saying that because you don't want him to park in your spot.
Very good. You win the trip to Jamaica.
Hey, wait a minute. You didn't say there was a prize.
Wow, could you be any stupider?
Excuse me, is this Sarcasm 101?
No, it's Lamaze class for men named Arthur.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm kidding. It is Sarcasm 101. Be more gullible. Take any seat you want.
Thanks.
Except that one.
Oops.
I'm kidding. Sit down.
It's really hard to tell.
Thank you. What's your name?
Marissa.
Well done. Marissa has just learned what? Anyone? Bueller?
Good sarcasm is hard to distinguish from normal speech. Could you be more of a teacher's pet?
Tom, I heard that. Good one.
Best way that I can describe it is after the show was over, if one of us bumped into each other, that was it. That was the end of the night. You just
Sat with that
sat with the person all night long.
I remember that.
And that was it.
Okay, everybody, it's showtime.
Good morning. It is grand to be on hand. You've tuned in to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. We appreciate that very much. Even if it was completely accidental, we appreciate it. I see everybody's here, and that is just great. Josh, you were a fan of actor Matthew Perry.
Yeah. I can't call myself... I enjoyed Matthew Perry. Like, there's fans out there. I mean, for example, we got a lot of texts and emails over the weekend from people that were really disturbed by this, so I don't want to act like I'm on that level.
No.
But I was never really into Friends. At the time, I had a girlfriend who watched it, so I'd watch it with her, and it could be very funny. Chandler, one of the standout stars, obviously. One of the best on the show. And then him in The Whole Nine Yards, that's when I really became a fan of Matthew Perry. He was so funny in that movie.
If you weren't aware, the guy died over the weekend, Matthew Perry. What the hell happened?
Don't know yet.
I guess, yeah, they don't know. They don't suspect any foul play. They don't think that it was anything to do with drugs. There's no drugs at the scene, but...
Well, they found a S-ton of prescription drugs. Yeah. So, and they're not blaming that yet. They've deferred, the medical examiners deferred the cause of death. So they're going to continue to investigate.
Well, first off, where was he? I don't know any of the details here.
He was at his house.
At his own home.
In a hot tub.
They found him in a hot tub.
They call it a hot tub, but did you see this thing?
That thing was a pool.
That is, it's what do they call those? Infinity pools?
Yeah.
Right. It overlooks. Yeah, it overlooks, some mountaintop or whatever it was, And it's gigantic, Nick. I mean, you could fit everyone you know in this thing.
He had a few bucks. He was living a happy,
I think he did all right.
Luxurious life. Okay, he had a sweet pad with a big fat hot tub. He was found alone?
Yes.
And he had been laying there for a couple days or something? A couple hours.
Yeah. So it sounds like, so far they're saying either an accidental drowning or some sort of cardiac event.
Okay, but he had been clean for years?
I don't know about for years.
Okay.
I think it was a real struggle for him on and off for a long time.
I remember hearing he had some troubles with the hooch and this and that. 55, 6 years old?
54.
54.
Yeah, this is a bummer. This is probably the first celebrity, or one of the first celebrity deaths that actually hurts for me personally.
You were a big fan of this guy.
Yeah, I grew up watching Friends.
You did.
Almost every single day. It was excessive. So yeah, I grew up watching him. So yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah, I can't put myself on your level, or like I said, the emails and texts we got from people who were really affected by this. It was a rough weekend, man.
That's
too many deaths over the weekend.
It's a terrible shame. I never followed Friends at all. It was, Josh mentioned it a minute ago, it was the movie The Whole 9 Yards that introduced me to Matthew Perry. And that movie is one of my favorites from the last 20-some years. I don't know when it came out.
2000.
Okay, so certainly in the last 25 years. That's one of my favorite comedic films.
His vomiting scene that's the best. That was so good. That might be my favorite thing he's ever done.
He was...
When he realizes how much danger he's in.
Yes. I had no idea the guy was so talented. His facial expressions, his physical comedy in that movie was brilliant, and he wasn't the only one. That movie was perfectly cast. Bruce Willis
He was great, too.
And the gorgeous blonde and the gorgeous brunette and the big giant dude, I forget his name, who I believe has passed as well.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Just a hilarious movie. What was his name? The older comic that played one of the gangsters, Kevin. You know who I'm talking about?
Pollack? Yeah, Kevin Pollak.
There we go.
There you go. He was great. Anyway, that's what introduced me to Matthew Perry, and I think everyone involved in that film should have even gotten more credit than they actually received for how that was put together. The lady who played his wife with the French accent was so funny. One of the Arquette family members.
Yeah, Rosanna.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The sister of David.
Brilliant movie. They deserved even more credit for that film.
I'm not on social media, but I was reading it, so I don't. Maybe you guys can double check this. That his last post, Matthew Perry's last post, was about how much he loved being in the hot tub.
Yeah, there's a photo of him in the hot tub.
So yeah, was that confirmed? I saw a couple articles on it, but I wasn't sure if that was accurate or not.
Oh, I didn't hear about that. That's
pretty creepy.
Yeah, that is really eerie.
He didn't look healthy. They also published the last couple photos, like TMZ had the supposed last photo of him out in public, and he definitely didn't look healthy.
Oh,
what was he looking like? Very heavy?
Very heavy and just sickly. And then he just got done exercising for a couple hours.
Okay.
So maybe that's part of why they suggested a cardiac event.
Yeah, his last post on Instagram was him in the hot tub. And that was just a day before.
Okay. That is a little unnerving. What a shame. Young guy. My bet is he could have done some wonderful things just professionally in his later years. I could see him being an older character actor and really thriving in that role. It's a shame that we won't see him get a chance to get that opportunity.
Yeah, he hasn't been in anything.
Wife and kids?
No
wife and kids.
I think it's been like 5-6 years since he's done anything that I'm aware of.
Oh, he hasn't acted at all? I did not know that.
Yeah, I don't think he's done anything in the last. Maybe somebody could double check.
Yeah,
that.
I'm looking. It doesn't look like he's been in anything.
Well, wouldn't that have been something had he continued on? He could have made the talent that guy had. He could have made a comeback into the business, and I'm sure, continued to thrive. That's very, very sad. But sometimes folks just go. We all know that. Sometimes you just never know. But if he was kind of mean to himself with the drugs and the booze for quite a stretch of time, Oh,
it sounds like it was pretty bad.
Yeah. Sometimes you just go. That's a damn shame. Speaking of Friends, the television program, what is this? I mean, Friends is one of the most popular television shows ever.
Easily.
Still today.
Good.
Yeah, where does that line up with The Office? Is Friends still more popular than The Office?
Yeah, I'd say so.
The Office? Okay. I never saw any of these programs. But I always thought if we're talking like all-time television shows, popularity, it was basically Cheers, Friends, MASH,
yeah.
Cosby Show, and that's pretty much it. Seinfeld.
Seinfeld's on there, too.
Right?
Yeah.
That would probably... Speaking of Friends, I did see a Friends character, and it wasn't Matthew Perry's character. It was, what's his name again? Joey. What's the
Matt
actor's
LeBlanc.
name? Matt LeBlanc.
He was great too.
Matt LeBlanc's character, Joey Tribbiani.
Yes, they were the best of friends.
If that's how you say it. Joey's character was called one of the coolest TV characters of all time.
He was pretty cool.
He was cool. Yeah.
You know, he's a dummy, but he was cool. Yeah.
He
was
had very good luck with the ladies. That was his
definitely.
name.
Well, he was it a soap opera actor? He was a struggling actor.
Yeah.
Joey Tribbiani.
I would say
from Friends.
He probably, for me, had the. I laughed at his stuff the most.
He was great. He was a butt double for a while.
That's right.
You guys are pretty dialed into the program, huh?
Actually, more so than me. I'm like Josh. I had a girlfriend who loved it and growing up in high school, so I watched the DVDs with her. But I just secondhand enjoyed it.
It's one of those comfort shows. If there's nothing else on, really, it's kind of like Cheers. Just throw it on in the background.
You know what? A few days ago, I watched, for the very first time in my life, I watched an entire episode of Seinfeld.
How'd
you
like
mentioned
it?
that.
Did I mention that already on the air?
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. It was okay. Was Matthew Perry, was he Canadian, or did he just portray a Canadian in the whole 9 yards?
Boy, good question.
Good question. I'm not sure exactly.
Why do I want to say he was
not a Canadian?
He's not a Canadian.
No,
okay.
He's a masshole.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And then also, speaking of Friends, I also saw an article on TV characters we never want to see again, and the character Ross Geller from Friends comes up.
Yeah.
Ross Geller.
I couldn't stand him.
He was very annoying.
I was going to leave that out.
Yeah.
Him and his stupid freaking dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Everything about him.
He ruined the show for me.
Just so neurotic and weird. Just stupid.
And I'm supposed to believe that he can get with Jennifer Aniston? Like, come on.
I remember hearing that many times from Friends fans, that they were upset that this Ross character would be paired up with Jennifer Aniston's character because it was just so unrealistic. Is that the argument?
Oh, yeah. He
she
sucked.
would never look his
And
way
he was
in
so
real life.
arrogant for no reason.
Right.
I mean, sure, he was smart.
So kind of
What,
like
more anxiety than hair? Jesus said Ross, he couldn't be your favorite. Come on, man. You're too cool for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really liked it. I really liked More Anxiety Than Hair Jesus until now.
So, you want to know the rest of the characters on these lists? Okay, what was I talking about first? The coolest TV characters of all time, where Joey Tribbiani from Friends shows up. It says about Joey he might be a little slow, but he was totally loyal. Somehow able to make a living as an actor and the best looking of the male Friends. Well, that's kind of a cheap shot. The other coolest TV characters of all time, Jack Bauer from 24.
Sure.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, did I love that show. Although, you know, like I didn't watch the last season. I couldn't get into it.
Sure. I remember you were crazy about that program.
Oh man, I had the same ringtone on my phone. I downloaded the ringtone, the famous ringtone from it.
Oh, yeah. Refresh my memory. Play that for me if you can.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it.
If you can find, that's going to bring back some memories because I never watched 24. But I remember you had some kind of ringtone. That's it.
That was the CTU ringtone.
Yeah.
That brings me back like 15 some odd years now, Josh, to hear that because when your phone would ring. Okay, the coolest television characters of all time. Help me. Sydney Bristow from Alias.
Never watched that one.
Don't worry about it if you haven't seen it. Seth Cohen from The OC.
He was cool.
James Sonny Crockett. And Ricardo Rico Tubbs from Miami Vice.
I was going to say, if you can mention one, you got to put both of them on there.
F me, was that a phenomenon for a brief period of time when I was in junior high. Miami Vice, man. I had buddies who just refused to do anything on whatever night Miami Vice was on television. Did you refuse? Hey, we got front row tickets to this. There's a bunch of girls drinking and we're going to go party with them. Nope. I'm going to go home and watch Miami Vice. Cool characters. Arthur Fonzarelli.
Yeah.
It's his birthday.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is it Henry Winkler's birthday? Charlie Harper from 2.5 by Damn Men.
Haven't seen that one.
He's very just a laid-back alcoholic who gets a lot of squish. Oh, here's Seinfeld. Cosmo Kramer. That dude wasn't cool.
Yeah, I don't know what I mean, I liked Cosmo. He was super funny. I wouldn't say cool.
No, not at all.
Tyrion Lannister, Game Plus Thrones.
Heck yeah.
Omar Little, The Wire.
Oh my God.
I can't think of who that is.
Oh, yeah.
You can't think. Did you watch The Wire?
I've seen random episodes of it.
Omar.
May he
so
rest
cool.
in peace.
Yes.
Nice waffle.
Omar coming.
Yep. Oh, whenever he whistled that, you knew something was going down.
He was so awesome.
Is that how you knew things were going down, Skis?
Yeah, he'd always whistle before he came
Here
in
it
with
is.
his shotgun.
Or how about this?
Hey, yo, lesson here, baby. You come at the king, you best not miss.
Iconic.
Okay, yeah, he sounds really cool.
He is cool, man.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
This is funny. We're rolling through the coolest television characters of all time here, and I just mentioned Arthur Fonzarelli, otherwise known as the Fonz from Happy Days, and I just got a text from Goosetown Jesus saying, "What about the Fonz?" I bet you feel like a jackass now, don't you?
Well, a couple
Goosetown
came in.
Jesus.
A couple came in after we mentioned the Fonz.
You blew it, dude. Angus MacGyver from the television show MacGyver.
Sure, I love that one.
I couldn't stand the sight of anything connected to that program.
Did you watch it, though?
I tried it a couple times, and I thought it was just the stupidest damn thing.
Oh, I thought it was pretty cool.
Sam Malone from Cheers.
Of course. Yep. Got to put that one on there.
Carrie Matheson from something or another called Homeland.
I haven't watched that one yet.
Oh, I actually just started watching that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, she's a CIA agent.
John Hannibal Smith from the A-Team. Played
Josh
by
would
George Papard, whatever the hell.
Oh, Picard. Yeah. I just threw out the Star Trek reference by accident. What about Mr. T?
It's tough to see a character like B.A. Baracus not make a cool list. That's a good question, Cubby. Tony Soprano from The Sopranos and Walt White from Breaking Bad on the cool list. We are getting quite a few texts about the passing of Matthew Perry and how it's affected some of you. Too bad. I mean, too young.
Here's another one from Pickle Jesus. Dean Winchester from Supernatural. Yeah. I loved Dean. Team Dean all the way.
Word.
Where's Walker, Texas Ranger? This text wants to know from Bug Eye Wagon Jesus.
Never saw it.
Yeah, me neither.
I only saw clips of it on Conan O'Brien when he used to spin or he'd pull the lever and it would show a random clip of Walker, Texas Ranger with no context. It was always so funny.
Chuck Norris, right?
Yeah.
Josh, you were Team Dean on what program?
Supernatural.
What was the other side of the fence?
Sam.
Team Sam?
Yeah, but they're brothers. You don't really want to split them up, but Dean was so friggin' funny and cool.
All right, so Ross Geller, the character from Friends that I mentioned a minute ago, made an article of TV characters we never want to see again. You want to hear the rest of that one?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, some of these I think are movies too, so bear with me on that. I could be wrong. Veruca Salt from Willy Wonka.
That's a random one, but funny.
And the Chocolate Factory.
She's a kid, but now the actress is obviously an adult. What a biznatch she was, huh?
Oh,
yeah.
Terrible.
I mean, I remember watching Willy Wonka as a kid, and of course, my memory is the Gene Wilder version. I never bothered with Tom Cruise or someone.
Depp.
Johnny Depp. I never bothered with that, and I was never totally dialed into who was who when I was watching Willy Wonka as a kid because I was a kid.
Yep.
But I do remember that she was a little snobby little blonde, and nothing was good enough for her, and then she
she was that one.
drowned in a vat of taffy or something. I don't know, but
Oh, wow. Looking at her all grown up, she is pretty.
Is she?
Yeah, she is.
Well, she's got to be 60 years old, for Christ's sake. The gal who played Veruca Salt in the damn
how
Gene
old is
Wilder
she?
version of...
It says here she's 38.
Well, then, that must be...
That's the new one.
That's got to be the new one. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I was going to say.
Yeah, the math doesn't add up there, does
it sure doesn't. That doesn't add up.
I watched that movie as a child.
Which one?
The
John Depp version?
No, the Willy Wonka, the original, yeah.
Here are other TV characters people don't want to ever see again. Pat from Saturday Night Live. I like Pat. Pat was funny.
Pat was really funny.
Pat was friggin' funny.
She rubbed her nipples.
Yes.
When she do it.
That's pretty good, dude. What the hell? I've never heard you do that before. That was spot on. Barney from the show Barney Plus Friends.
So I've never seen the show, but I could agree with that.
Nellie Olson.
Yeah, she was mean.
Yeah, she was. Lori Grimes from The Walking Dead.
Seemed kind of like a pain in the butt. By the way, Daryl from The Walking Dead should have been on that tough guy cool list for sure.
Okay,
cool. Daryl.
I was even thinking of Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy.
Well, maybe they're in here. I don't remember
That's another
all of
good
these.
one.
Some of these, like I said, are movies. Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. Although I feel so bad for that actor.
Same. Like his life was like destroyed by Star Wars fans.
Yep.
What?
Yeah. The guy who did the
Death
voice for
threats,
it.
and he wanted to quit acting afterwards.
Come on.
He said he's just lost all like passion for life after that.
Walden Schmidt from 2.5 Men. That must have been the character that your boyfriend played,
Ashton
Ashley.
Kutcher,
yeah.
Never saw it. I refuse to watch an episode of 2.5 Men with Ashton Kutcher. It doesn't work.
Yeah,
in my
it
book.
doesn't. I tried. It just hurts.
Carrie Bradshaw, Sex and the City. These are characters no one wants to ever see again.
Yeah, she's annoying.
She was pretty insufferable.
That girlfriend I was telling you about that watched Friends, and I'd watched Friends with her. She was also really into Sex and the City, but I couldn't watch that one.
That
Just
show
vapid
is awful.
garbage, I
know.
thought.
Kim Bauer from 24. Okay.
Oh, well, Kim Bauer.
Yeah,
what was
who's
annoying
that?
about her?
Who's that? Is that...
That's his daughter.
I got you.
Alicia Cuthbert. You like Alicia Cuthbert.
Oh, Christ. That character was played by Alicia Cuthbert?
Yeah.
I never get tired of any role she plays. I even watched that really stupid movie, Wax City or whatever.
House of Wax?
House of Wax.
Oh, wow.
It's one of the worst, stupidest horror movies of all time.
That's pretty bad.
I watched it on television a couple nights ago because Alicia Cuthbert's running around in the damn thing. God, that movie sucks. People don't want to see Buzz McAllister from the Home Alone series.
Oh, you needed him in there.
Yeah, he needed the bully older brother.
A character named Dawson Leary from...
Such a douche.
From... I don't want to wait for my life to be over.
I think that song's your guilty pleasure. You love that song.
Yes, I do. Mutt Williams from the Indiana Jones franchise. People never want to see him again. Who's he?
Oh, that's
I don't
the dang it, young guy. God darn it, with the weird name.
Indiana Jones, like Harrison Ford running around like that?
Yeah,
Indiana?
he was in the new one.
Oh, it's the Shia LaBeouf
Yeah,
character.
Shia LaBeouf. Yes.
Oh, really?
Thank you.
Oh, this is hilarious. Look what came up on the list of television or movie characters that you never want to see again. Well, I think you're all right. I think you're safe. Cousin Oliver from the Brady Bunch.
He had quite the look, didn't he?
Oh, but he was such a pain in the ass. He looked like a miniature version of John Denver.
Yeah, you're right.
Cousin Oliver, and he pissed everybody off and was always ruining something. But we had to feel sympathy for him because he was kind of an outcast. In the end, I learned to love Cousin Oliver. Bella Swan from the Twilight Saga.
Yeah, I agree. Can't deal with her.
Randy Pearson from that 70s show. I don't know who any of these friggin' people are, but that's okay.
Randy.
I didn't watch a lot of that show.
Janice Soprano.
Yeah, she could be pretty insufferable.
Oh, yeah, Randy sucks.
And that little bag of D's Scrappy Doo from
Yeah,
the
he's
Scooby-Doo.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad he's on the list.
I've never been an advocate for animal cruelty, but somebody kick Scrappy Doo in the ribs.
Yes, please. hate that little guy.
Somebody come home drunk and kick Scrappy Doo.
King Joffrey was also on that list of Game of Thrones.
Oh,
One of the
no.
most despisable characters of all time.
You wanted to crawl into your television and strangle that son of a bitch.
He's one of those, that's when I realized how good an actor can be, because I hated the actor for how good he was at that role.
Well, even going back to David Schwimmer again, I mean, Band of Brothers, Captain Sobel. Oh, I hated that guy.
David Schwimmer's in Band of Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm officially never watching it.
Yeah, I never
I
saw
will
it either.
say I've heard he's a good guy.
Schwimmer?
Schwimmer, and
He was funny in Curb Your Enthusiasm playing himself.
I don't remember him in that. But yeah, I've heard he's a good guy, and he's a talented director from what I hear.
Yeah, definitely.
Never in a...
Just to give him some credit, because I really didn't like his character Ross on Friends. But we've mentioned this before. The way he played off that spray tan scene in Friends was really funny.
No, it was good.
That was really good, to give him credit.
Never in a million years could I come up with the name of the movie, but I watched David Schwimmer. How do you say his name? Schwimmer?
Yep, Schwimmer.
I saw him in some dark ass movie, and he was really good. I'll try to look it up on IMDb. It was really creepy, awful, dark movie, but he was really good.
Was it Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted?
Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. Other folks, listeners are texting in characters that they never want to see again. Brad Ryder. What else is there? What do you mean? Was someone texting in Mr. Bean? What do you got against Mr. Bean? He never said a word. And he was got himself in hilarious situations. Josh, did you ever see the episode where Mr. Bean parked his little vehicle and then two cars parked him in? He couldn't get out of the vehicle.
No, I've only seen a couple episodes
He had
of
to
that.
crawl through the sunroof and his briefcase spilled all over the
Oh, no.
It was a nightmare for the guy.
Oh, it was one thing after another of that guy.
Medical device Jesus brings up another one from Game of Thrones, Ramsay Bolton. Yes. Mm-hmm. He was awful as well.
I'm surprised Ted Mosby from How I Met Your Mother didn't make that list. That guy was just a tool.
What show again?
How I Met Your Mother.
I don't want to wait.
No.
All right, you're a great crowd, and some of you are really hurting by the passing of Matthew Perry, and I wasn't terribly familiar with the guy outside of the great 9 yards. That's not accurate. The
whole 9
the whole
yards.
9 yards.
I never saw the whole 10 yards. Did you watch that one?
No, I didn't bother with that. But we can all relate. We can all relate. If you're hurting from, hell, young guy, checking out like that, talented guy, we can relate. And we'll try to create a couple of laughs around here this morning to get you through. Wasn't that long ago. God, now I think it's been a couple years, which is amazing to think. It's been a couple years since Edward Van Halen died.
That one was really tough for me.
That one crushed me and Cubby. So we know what you're going through, and we'll try to be some kind of help this morning as we roll through our Monday broadcast. Brandy Shaver and Ricky Ryder will be coming around a little bit later. Oh, Dr. P's going to be here a little bit later as well. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to take a break, and we'll come back here in a few minutes on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, podcasters. Right now on the Luther Bloomington Kia text line, text KILLERS, 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 to 651-989-9393 for a shot to win tickets to Iron Maiden presented by 93X. This concert will take place Tuesday, October 22nd at the XL Energy Center. Tickets furnished by Live Nation. Tickets go on sale to the general public Friday at 10 a.m. This keyword is only good today, October 30th until midnight. Good luck.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yes, my friends. Yes. Gather around the radio and listen to some more examples of the death of human decency. Can't even have a good time at a Bolivian wedding anymore. Can't even count on that. You know, I never told you guys this, but me and my wife's first choice for where we wanted to get married was Bolivia.
Oh, what's the connection?
Because that's where you and your wife got married.
Bolivia?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good memory.
Mm-hmm. So here's the deal. A wedding in Bolivia turned into ass because nobody knows how to behave anymore. The story says here, the groom's ex-girlfriend showed up. The mature adult that she is, right?
Yep.
Awkward.
Or maybe it's an ex-wife, ex-something. Okay, doesn't really matter. The groom's ex-girlfriend showed up. And she waited for the right moment. She waited until right after the new couple said their I do's. And then she threw warm, soft feces on the bride and groom. It was warm and it was soft, and it landed on the bride and the groom. There's pictures all over the internet now of this couple soaked in turds.
It was a lot of poop, man.
The poop got in the bride's hair.
No.
And it hit her in the face, and it got on her pretty white dress, and the groom is a military dude, and the wet turds messed up his nice service uniform.
Oh.
Murder.
It was like all over her mouth.
Yeah, some of it got in her mouth.
No.
She was laughing, ah, ha, 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 and the turds, some of it landed in her mouth, just under her tongue.
Oh, stop.
She had to take her tongue and kind of like scoop it out from under her tongue.
Gross, dude.
And then spit it on the floor like it was Copenhagen. So here's the part that really grabs me. And in my opinion, it makes quite a statement on the overall mental health of people these days. Word is the ex-girlfriend went through with this terrible act for a reason. I mean, if someone's going to sneak a bucket of warm, wet feces into a wedding in order to splash the bride and groom, there must have been a damn good reason, right? This must have been an act of revenge.
Yeah, you'd think.
Okay? So let's go through what the reason might have been. I mean, maybe the groom was a physically abusive prick when the two of them were together.
Oh?
Then he'd deserve it. Maybe not the new bride, but he would deserve it.
But that's not it. Maybe the new bride is a crook and stole tens of thousands of dollars from the ex-girlfriend by way of some kind of scam.
Well, then she deserved it.
Then she would have probably...
Maybe not the ex, but she deserved it.
That's not it either, Cubby. Maybe the new bride and groom were telling horrible, unforgivable lies about the ex-girlfriend on social media, ruining her life.
That would make sense then, yeah.
That's not it either. According to the story, this grown woman hauled around a bucket of turd logs all day long so she could throw them at this couple because she was jealous.
Oh.
And you know she was probably stockpiling that bucket for a while, too.
Well, yeah, you have to. You can't push all that out in one.
No.
That's it. She was jealous.
Gosh, women are crazy.
She was jealous that the groom was marrying someone else. That's it.
Ah, the one that got away. By the way, no, I did not actually get married in Bolivia. I'm getting a lot of texts on that. It was a joke. I got married in St. Paul.
Oh, Christ, that's right, St. Paul.
St. Paul. You confuse that all the time.
I make those mistakes. But that's the reason. That's where we're at.
Anyone ever been at a wedding where an ex showed up unexpectedly or anything?
No, but I want to be. That would be fun.
No, the only drama would be a family member had their aunt carried out because she was so drunk.
Mine was a little touch and go for a while there. My ex she had called me before the wedding, about a month before the wedding, saying, hey, I think we made a mistake. I want to get divorced. I think you should call after the wedding. We should be together. I told her no. And then the day of the wedding, she called me about 40 times. And to the point where I had to turn my phone off And I was worried that she was going to show up and make a scene.
That is insane.
Yeah, I would assume she was going to be there. Are you sure she wasn't there on the other end of a sniper rifle across the street?
For real.
And well, because I didn't give her any details about the wedding, but her cousin who had introduced us actually was an usher. And I was picturing her like being like, oh, wow, Dana's getting married. Oh, wow, that's fun. You're going to be in the wedding. Where's it at? You know? And
yeah.
She would have figured it out, and she showed up.
Oh,
It was terrifying.
If I was your ex-wife at the time,
I didn't
I would
tell
have
her.
taken a detour. Oh, you didn't tell her? I was going to say.
I was going to ask if you gave her a heads up.
Even after the fact, I never told her. I haven't told many people the story at all.
That's probably good.
So she might be finding out secondhand. I don't think she listens, but she find out secondhand that things almost got a little hectic there.
Now, after this incident, the poor bride posted a message on social media, and all she said was that she hoped her husband's ex, quote, will let us live in peace after getting her revenge.
Oh, I'd imagine that's a guarantee. Yeah, nothing to fear there.
So I guess maybe there are some adults left on planet Earth. I give the bride all the credit in the world for holding back what she might have really wanted to say. But all she said was, I hope you will let us live in peace. It's not clear if this newly married couple reported this incident to the cops. Just jealous. It's not me, it's her that's getting married. So I'm going to create a big bucket. I don't even know. I don't know what kind of feces. I don't know if it was hers or a cow or what, but what in the living hell is wrong with you?
She's just got a 5-gallon bucket in her bathroom for a couple of weeks. She keeps adding to it.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, I think immediately after the first deposit, I'd realize, all right, I've gone off the rails here.
She had a lot of chances to reconsider the decision she was making in her life.
Drinks all night, shakes all day. Jesus said they had to kick his own brother out of their wedding. And then he goes on to say, he's a dickhead.
The two best memories that I have from my first wedding, which was 20, what the hell years is it now? 2023? Hell, there's 25 years ago. Right before the ceremony started, me and my groomsmen, or whatever you call my buddies, were standing in a cabin. We got married like at a lake resort, and we were standing in a cabin waiting for the music to start, and then we would all, start that parade down the aisle nonsense that you do. But we were all kind of waiting quietly and buttoning our ties, and all of a sudden we heard, "Ah! Oh my God! Ah!" Some old lady had tripped over a flower pot and broke her arm in 35 different places. Ah! It was hilarious.
That would be pretty good.
Just some old lady trying to find my seat. Ah!
One of the worst days of her life.
And then what I'll always remember is how badly my dad sold out his girlfriend at the time. My dad was dating this lady. And he brought her to the wedding, and she got annihilated drunk, and it was hilarious. She's dancing around by herself. She got so drunk. When women do this, she got so drunk she tucked her shirt into her panties instead of her.
It's the worst.
And her old granny panties are sneaking up her back as she's dancing to Kool and the Gang by herself. Just got annihilated, right? The next morning, we did the present opening thing where we all gathered at somebody's house to do the present opening before me and the new wife took off for the honeymoon. And my dad walks in, and his girlfriend knew nobody before this event. Nobody. You should save these kind of cheap shots for people that, aren't new to the scene. But my dad's cold-blooded. My dad walks in with his new girlfriend, who looks like a trash can. She's so hungover. She's just, she looks green. She looks terrible. Big crowd of people in the house. My dad walks in with the girlfriend, and the first thing he says is, "Hey, anybody need a reason to quit drinking? Look at this right here." And the whole crowd goes, "Ah!" And this new girlfriend's thinking, "I don't even know any of you people." Sorry, I got hammered. What can I say? He sells her out right in front of everybody. And then he starts just pounding down a plate of scrambled eggs. Doesn't care about her at all. Just, there's bathrooms over there if you got to puke.
Drill and Tap Zach Jesus said, I had to kick my mom out of my own wedding for calling my wife a slut during the wedding.
Oh.
And then she snuck back in during the reception.
Oh. Come on,
Sneak
Mom.
back in.
I'd like to know the story behind that.
Nothing better than a gong show disaster wedding. I haven't been on the front lines of a really good one. I've seen some things.
Yeah, I've seen some annoying folks, some really bad drunken speeches.
Some injuries I've seen.
I've never seen an injury. Drunken groom. We were at the same wedding, Nick, where the groom, we thought, well, he's not going to consummate the relationship tonight. He is absolutely destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
Not going to happen.
Drunk brides are more fun than drunk grooms.
I've never seen a drunk bride.
Oh, I did this past year, and that was something.
This drunk groom was pretty fun. Let me tell you this much, Smashley. The sumbitch had the ring on his finger for maybe an hour, right? Just got married. Walks into the reception. He sees the gal that I brought to his wedding reception. He takes his wedding ring off his finger, puts it in his pocket, walks up to my date and says, "Hey, I'm Donnie. How you doing?"
Gosh.
I just saw you get married.
Yeah, he didn't care. He's a pimp. Drunk grooms, drunk brides. I mean, it can be an adventure. It's the only thing that draws me at all to going to a wedding anymore is, okay, will this be the day I get to see a true catastrophe?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That'd be sweet.
That's how I feel.
All right. Say a prayer for the folks here, the people living in a small town in New Zealand called, I'm going to do my best, Poria, okay? Poria, New Zealand. They've been going through straight up hell for about the last year. Here's what's going on. Automobile drivers roll through town at night in this town. Sometimes as late as 2 a.m., they roll through town cranking Celine Dion love ballads. Nobody in town can get a decent night's sleep because of this. All damn night with the Celine Dion. Word is these bastards with the loud car stereos, they like to fire up Celine Dion's biggest hits. You just heard one of them, My Heart Will Go Smooth On. The other one that they like to play is called It's All Coming Back to Be Now, Skis. I don't know if you know the hits.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the second one there.
It's all coming back. They start bumping Celine Dion tunes around 7 o'clock at night, and it just keeps going from then on till they wear themselves out. No one can get a night's sleep.
I understand. I wouldn't be able to sleep either. You have to
you want to
sing
jam.
along.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to sit up in bed and sing along.
Yep, you're like, here you go
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah, that Titanic song especially.
Now, as you might have already guessed, this is some kind of cute, new, trendy gimmick. Like hating Nickelback was a thing a few years ago, or using Creed tunes to fire up your ball club before a big game is a more recent, trendy little music bit. This cranking tunes in your car to drive folks nuts, this new bit is called a siren battle. It's been a thing in New Zealand for several years, a siren battle. These battles involve rival crews. How do I get in on one of those crews, Josh?
I'd like to get in one. I couldn't tell you. I've never been allowed in one.
You want to join our crew where you drive around town cranking Celine Dion? You know, this isn't for everybody.
Not everyone's cut out for this kind of lifestyle.
You think you can hang with us, huh? Well, we'll see about that. Rival crews compete to blast the most powerful and clear sounds from loudspeakers attached to cars, sometimes even bicycles. And if you are the loudest, you win the title of Siren King. I've never heard of anything like this in my life.
That's so weird.
They cruise around, try not to get caught by the cops. According to a website called The Spinoff, Celine Dion's music is especially popular with Siren King competitors because the songs need to have more treble than bass to be noticed, to carry across town. Treble carries further than bass, they say. And high-pitched voices, like the one Celine Dion dumps in her songs, those work the best. So someone in town said people are not getting any sleep. It's going on at all hours. They've started up a petition, and they've handed it into the mayor's office to try to get the mayor and the cops to pay closer attention to this crap. And the mayor has said, yeah, we're working on it. But man, that sucks.
Kind of reminds me of that X Fest where we were blasting the Backstreet Boys, I Want It That Way, from our vehicle. And that was one of about 3 times working for this radio station where I thought I was going to be murdered. People were furious. They just don't get good music, I guess, at some of those festival concerts.
Talk about a crowd of people who weren't dialed into sarcasm.
Right, nobody got a joke.
Yeah. We cruised up on this big concert festival with all these, dark metal bands were playing, and we were obviously, I was wearing a visor, okay? it was a joke. We were cranking Backstreet Boys, and every dope that was walking up to the concert would go, F you, man, go home. What are you guys, stupid or something?
They're throwing big mud balls at my car. That didn't deter us, though.
No.
Heck no.
It's a hell of a song.
You wanted it that way.
I did want it that way. And, had we played eBay from Weird Al, his parody of the song, maybe that would have been different. The crowd might have appreciated that.
Years ago, I was seeing a girl who played me a Celine Dion song in her car to try and express how she felt about me.
Oh, that must have been awkward.
It was nerve-wracking.
Yeah, that sounds terrifying.
I was not ready for that. It took me by surprise.
Was it a long ballad, too, or it just kept going on and on and on?
Oh, I remember the song very well. It was, "'Cause I'm Your Lady."
I've had that backfire on me before.
And you are my Mexico.
Wait, had what backfire on you,
Yeah, what
Josh?
happened to you?
Playing a song for a girl I was dating, I'm so bad with lyrics that I thought it was saying I was missing her because the song's called Missing You by John Waite.
Right.
But the chorus is, I ain't missing you at all.
Right.
And I never really realized that.
Yeah.
And I thought, I got to start listening to lyrics.
But I didn't have it as bad as a pal of mine. Don't get me wrong. It was uncomfortable when this girl said, "Hey, get in the car." Well, where are we going? No, just get in the car. And she slips this cassette tape in, and it played this Celine Dion song about how she's my lady and I am her man. I was not ready for that. I didn't have it as bad as a buddy of mine back in high school. Now, when this girl did the Celine Dion bit to me, I think I was like 22 years old. So I was a little more grown. Back in high school, a buddy of mine had a gal stopped the two of them in the middle of intercourse so she could play the Def Leppard song Love Bites to him because she thought of it as their song, but she also sang the song to him while staring into his eyes. He's got a boner and everything. She's sitting there staring into his eyes and singing, "When we make love, ooh, you look in the mirror."
Def Leppard's Pyromania album, that gives me a boner.
Yeah.
I mean, that and anything prior to that album.
Who
Crocs
do
with
you think of? Does she look like me? Yes, who said what?
Crocs with Socks Jesus said when he went to see Avatar, they had the Muzak playing before the show, and I Want It That Way came on, and everyone started singing it. See, moviegoers get it.
Yeah, they do.
Concert goers, they're just not into it.
Yeah, it was a hell of a deal, I'll tell you that right now. I wouldn't think that this kind of announcement would need to be made to grown folks, but like I've said many times, I don't really understand the mindset of people anymore. This story comes from Wales, don't you know? Wales. I think that they're part of that United Kingdom setup. But that doesn't really matter. There's a Goodwill thrift shop kind of a store over there that has had to ask their customers to stop donating their dildos and butt plugs and such.
We're going to give you 3 weeks to knock that off.
This joint jumped up on Facebook and said, "Please refrain from donating your used and unused marital aids."
Marital aids.
It said people who donate should be mindful that there are children who volunteer at the joint. They are a children's charity, and they have kids who volunteer at the... I mean, I don't think they're 8. I mean, they're probably, 15, 16-year-old kids.
So yeah, they're not... Yeah, they know what they're looking at.
But it is a children's charity.
Yeah.
Whatever, we get the point. They also made mention that they have security cameras, and any items donated can be traced back to the owners. That would make for an awkward interaction. Sir, here you go. Our cameras recorded you donating this rubber beehole. We're not going to be able to use this. Here it is. Take it back. Unusual donations are nothing new for these thrift shops and whatnot. A different shop in the United Kingdom received a prosthetic leg with the shoe still on it. And the British Red Cross received some sex toys and somebody's false teeth a while back. What should I do with these old false teeth, honey? Donate them.
Yeah, throw it in the bucket with the butt plugs.
You know, we're going
drop it all off.
We're going through to see if there's stuff we can donate at our house, and I'm very careful on what I donate to think, is this garbage?
Yeah.
You know, would somebody want this? I think a sex toy I'd just throw out.
Yeah.
Or sell on the dark web or something. By the way, I'm an idiot. People are saying the text about Avatar was the band, not the movie.
I'm sorry?
Oh, I didn't even know there was a band named Avatar.
Oh, yeah, they're great. When you say Avatar, I automatically go to the movie.
Yeah, same here.
I see.
So I apologize.
Avatar,
The Dirt That Buried Me, great song.
Pardon me?
The Dirt That Buried Me,
The
great
Dirt
song.
That Buried Me.
Yeah.
I hear you. Man, how about this caper right here? How do I say this? Northern Ireland. A story from Northern Ireland. Someone stole a couple of big-ass barrels of bull semen.
Oh.
Oh, that's like a valuable. That's really valuable, right?
I've mentioned this before, but I was asked to be a part investor in a bull semen ordeal.
And you turned it down.
I turned it down.
How much regret do you have?
None. I have zero regret.
Someone stole a couple of big-ass barrels of bull semen.
Yeah, I hope you don't mind. I got up a little early, so I took the liberty of milking your cow.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it took a little while to get her warmed up. She sure is a stubborn one. Then, pow, all at once.
We don't have a cow. We have a bull.
I brush my teeth.
You had to go.
He's just got that milk mustache.
That was a great scene. It made my stomach churn, though.
I love that movie so much.
These tanks were filled with what has been described as a large quantity of cattle jid. Boy, someone's planning a party, right? The local cops say that this was some pretty expensive bull ball compound that the thieves got away with. As Ashley mentioned and Josh mentioned, cattle semen can be expensive depending on the quality of the bull. It's pretty gross right here. These tanks, from what I can understand, are about the size of beer kegs. And the cops said that the thieves could have just strapped them into the front seat of their car by using a seatbelt. But if they don't know what they're doing and drive too fast, the lid could come easily off these tanks, and then everyone in the car is going to be splashed with ice-cold bull semen.
And I would know enough not to donate that car to Cars for Kids. I'd give it somewhere else.
Oh. If they don't know what they're doing, the lids can come off these damn things very easily, and then everybody would end up looking like they just left a house party at Dennis Rodman's place.
Oh.
You know what I mean? You don't know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean.
Gross. Be terrible.
Very.
You're on the cell phone with your fellow criminals. Hey, I got the kegs right here in the car. I'll be over there. You want me to hurry up? Oh, sure, I'll hurry up. And then splash. And it's cold because it's like cryogenically frozen. How does a grown person say that?
Yeah, that sounds right.
It's frozen. It's cold. I don't like to be cold for any reason. Some numbskull in Florida's in trouble for keeping an alligator in his garage. In an aquarium. He's a 28-year-old named Christopher Abelard. He had a 3.5-foot alligator in a 35-gallon aquarium tank. The damn thing looked awful lonely and confused. Sounds like this dude and his equally strange dad like to collect animals and put them in the garage. They also had 5 boa constrictors in other aquariums in the garage.
Oh, those are huge. No, thank you.
They'll kill you.
When I was younger, they had, did you guys ever have those reptile people come to your, like, grade school and let you hold snakes and stuff?
We did, yes.
Yeah, I got to hold one of those things.
I don't remember. A friend of mine had some kind of dopey snake in a tank when we were growing up, and he had a stupid spider, too. And every time we went over there, it was the same prank every time. Hey, where's the Oh, the snake got out of the tank. I haven't seen him in a little while. So we'd all go, oh, Jesus, where is it? He fell for it every time.
It's a good bit.
This old man, the dad here by the name of Gene, he told the cops that he saw this alligator crossing the road, and he said he was afraid that someone would run it over, pick it up, take it home, and eat it, which is strangely specific.
Sounds like he might do it.
That's exactly what I was thinking. He also claimed he was going to take the gator to some place called Gatorland in a couple days.
Sure,
Yay,
famous.
Gatorland. Gatorland is famous?
Never heard of that.
What do they do there?
Well, they've got all kinds of gators.
I'll be damned.
Believe it or not.
These dopes had none of the permits required to have an alligator living in your garage, so the cops hauled it away. Sounds like a good way to get your foreskin torn off for you or something, to have a wild alligator living in the...
Bro,
they crave,
Gatorland looks cool.
They crave foreskin.
Seems like something you'd like.
Yeah.
Gatorland is
They
cool.
got a bunch of gators.
Are you serious? At Gatorland?
They even have a zip line. Oh my gosh.
Real quick before we go, anybody want your own Transformer?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is this up on 93x.com?
Yes.
I don't want a Transformer. I'm a GoBot guy.
I want one exactly like Bumblebee.
I've been backing the GoBots from day one. But no one wants to make a GoBots movie, do they, Josh? With Megan Fox and Bootsy LaBeef or whatever that kid's name. The guy you just
Bootsy LaBeef.
Nobody wants to make a GoBots movie. A Japanese company is selling effing Transformers. You can have one of your own. Well, they want $3 million in trade.
Oh.
So it looks like just the rich and famous are going to be... You actually crawl inside some kind of big old robot suit and you become a Transformer.
That sounds pretty cool.
They do look sweet.
And it also like toggles between a robot and a vehicle, just like they do in the movies. Is this correct, Josh? The suit weighs 3.5 tons?
Well, it's like a car. Or this one, the one I saw was kind of a half motorcycle.
How are the fellas at UPS going to handle that when I order one of these from Japan? It's 14 foot tall. It can go 6 miles an hour. Oh, my God, 6 miles an hour.
Cruising.
People are walking past you as you're in your $3 million vehicle.
So this is going to be the next big thing. Actual Transformer outfits that you jump into and you're a car and then you're a killer robot, whatever. I don't follow the Transformers that closely. I don't know exactly what you can do. Eventually, they want to use these for space exploration and disaster relief. The folks who put this thing together say that one day, this is interesting, they want to use them for space exploration, disaster relief, and they want to use one to win an NBA title. I think would be probably against the rules.
I'd be so scared if I saw this Transformer coming when you're like in a disaster situation. All of a sudden you're underneath a house and then this thing comes up and saves you. Oh, I'd poop my pants.
Josh, maybe you'll get your chance one day to be a Transformer.
Well, we've mentioned before, this is the perfect time of year to bring it up, those Halloween costumes that you see people go around that look like Transformers. Some of them are absolutely awesome.
Yeah, they are. I don't know those.
We've talked about them. Yeah, for sure. You're just misremembering, I guess.
I must be.
Where people, they get down on all fours and they look like a truck,
like Goldie Gopher, like I was explaining.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
I didn't know that people were walking around. I thought Goldie Gopher was the only one who had that ability. So I'll have to look out for those. And I've probably seen them before, and I'm forgetting. So there you go.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hall of Famer by position 800.
Bill Russell, Bill Walton. They are basketball centers. Mason?
Hall of Famer by position 1200.
Bob Feller, Bob Lemon, Bob Gibson. They're baseball pitchers. This might be a long category. 2 left, Mason.
Let's try Hall of Famer by position for 1600.
Okay, sports fans, I believe in you. Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, John Stallworth. They are wide receivers. And let's finish it off. Gump Worsley, Shrimp Waters, Rat Westwick. It just sounds like I'm making people up. These are hockey goalies.
That's pretty embarrassing.
I love that kind of stuff on Jeopardy.
It is fun. Some dudes on Jeopardy were asked some sports questions there, and they didn't know jack squat.
Typically doesn't go well in that show.
It doesn't. You know, they always save it for last. It's the last category.
We got to play that for Randy and Brad later. I think they'll really get a kick out of it. There's lots and lots and lots going on in the world of sports. Some of it's good and some of it's bad. We're going to have a lot more time in about a half hour to share all this stuff with you, talk about some of these things when Randy and Brad get here. For now, I'll just give you the quick version. The Vikings did beat Green Bay yesterday, but that's not the whole friggin' story. It sounds like Captain Deathrocks is a goner. Game 3 of the World Series begins tonight, 7 o'clock on Channel 9. Series tied at 1 win apiece. The Pigs, they lost again, this time in New Jersey yesterday. They haven't come out the gate the way they hoped to. There's a terrible hockey tragedy. We're going to have an opportunity to talk about that a little bit later. Timberwolves are in Atlanta tonight to play the Hawks. That's on BSN at 6:30. So, like I said, there's plenty to cover. We just need a little more time to do it, and we don't have that right now. We will when Randy and Brad show up. Stay tuned for Josh's news report.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Really appreciate all the support and all the tears and all the love. Absolutely. You know, our heart breaks with all of yours, and we just want you to know that we're all grieving this together.
This is a very, very, very difficult story this morning as former University of Minnesota Duluth men's hockey player and Hibbing native Adam Johnson died after a freak accident Saturday while playing hockey in England. According to the Associated Press, the 29-year-old was fatally injured by a skate blade while playing for the Elite Ice Hockey League's Nottingham Panthers in a Challenge Cup game against the Sheffield Steelers. The NHL, of course, has had skate scares throughout its history, most notably when Buffalo goaltender Clint Malarchuk took a blade to the neck during a game at St. Louis, March 22nd, 1989.
Obviously, hits real close to home for me because I almost died from the same accident. I just can't put it into words how it must be for them. You know, the kids from Minnesota, a big hockey state, and the whole hockey world's been affected by this for sure.
Johnson played college hockey for the University of Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs, helping them reach 2 NCAA tournaments. He scored an overtime game winner in the 2017 tournament, sending the Bulldogs to the Frozen Four.
Body in front of that shot. Now Johnson moving in. Shot, they score! Minnesota Duluth going back to the Frozen Four. Adam Johnson with a breakout year this year. Gets the game winner in the region final. And that senior class of UMD is headed to the Frozen Four. The Windy City is calling the Duluth Bulldogs.
Johnson signed with the Pittsburgh Penguins with his first goal in the NHL happening at XL Energy Center against the Wild in front of family and friends.
Lafferty is in, rips his shot, stopped on the rebound. Johnson, he scores! Get that puck, first NHL goal, Adam Johnson, 3-1 Pittsburgh.
The Wild honored Johnson on social media yesterday, saying, "We are deeply saddened to learn that former Hibbing star and UMD Bulldog Adam Johnson passed away after suffering a tragic injury Saturday night. The state of hockey is grieving for Adam, his family, and his hockey community."
Yeah, it's pretty brutal stuff right there, Cubby. I saw a report last night that, his family was watching this happen.
No.
They were watching on some internet feed of the game from England. That must have been beyond anything that anyone could ever imagine, to watch a loved one go out that way.
And not even being able to do anything, just watching it.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, and you bring up, the comparison to Clint Malarchuk. I remember that like it was yesterday, and I remember seeing an interview with his mother who was watching that game at home back in 1989, and she said, it's a hell of a thing to watch your child die on television, which is what she thought was happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was awful close. I just got a text message from Ojibwe Jesus who said, do you think the NHL will now make some kind of movement to have players wear a neck guard? And I texted him back and I said, had this happened in an actual NHL game that was on television, absolutely. The fact that this was out in Europe, I'm not too sure what the answer might be on that. But the neck guard for goalies came around because of Clint Malarchuk in 1989.
I was reading that there were some articles were saying they thought they already wore neck guards in Europe. So I don't know.
Really?
So in Canada they do.
Oh, it's Canada?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in Canada they have to wear a neck guard.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely horrible. And of course, our condolences to Adam's family. Actor Matthew Perry, best known for playing Chandler Bing on Friends, also died from an apparent drowning this time at only 54 years old.
Joey! Chandler? What are you still doing here? I thought you guys took off.
Oh, no. She took off with my clothes.
Are you naked in there?
Well, not exactly. I'm wearing panties.
You always wear panties?
No. This is the first time.
Well, do you guys have to go to the new house right away, or do you have some time? We got some time. Okay, should we get some coffee?
Sure. Where?
Perry was found Saturday at his home in the Los Angeles area where he was allegedly discovered in a hot tub. Police say Matthew returned home after playing pickleball. When Perry's assistant returned 2 hours later, he found the actor and called 911. Police say there were no illegal drugs found at the scene and no foul play involved, but cops did find several prescription drugs.
I would like to be remembered as somebody who lived well, loved well, and his paramount thing is that he wants to help people. That's what I want.
Outside of Friends, which was one of the biggest shows on television for 10 seasons and over 230 episodes, and a high-profile reunion after that, he also starred in numerous movies. So far, reports suggest cardiac arrest or a likely drowning, cause of death, but an official cause of death has not been released.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it's just sad.
He's a well-liked guy. Had his tough moments and made it through to the other side. You would hope he could just go on and live a long life. That's terribly sad.
And I hate starting the news with three terribly sad stories, but another one is Richard Mull, the actor famous for playing the gentle giant bailiff on Night Court, died Thursday at his home in Big Bear Lake, California. Richard starred as Bull Shannon in the original Night Court from 1984 to 1992 on NBC, acting alongside Harry Anderson and John Larroquette.
Criminal Court Part 2 is now in session. The Honorable Harold T. Stone presiding.
His bailiff character, known for his shaved head and a towering 6'8" frame, appeared in all 193 episodes until his character was abducted by aliens in the Night Court finale. I missed that.
Yeah, wow.
I watched that show. I don't remember that at all. Following his success on Night Court, he started doing voiceover work, including Batman the Animated Series and Spider-Man the Animated Series, as well as some horror movies and video games.
Night Court had a great run. That was a very funny show for a few years.
And that was a great character. I thought he was very funny.
Yeah, very deadpan. He played his role perfectly.
Until he got abducted by aliens.
Yeah, that was news to me.
Yeah, that one seems like one of those things somebody edited into Wikipedia as a joke.
It kind of does, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. A Florida woman allegedly set a car on fire after she became upset with her job Friday morning. Officers found the car on fire in the parking lot of a business complex about 11:08 a.m. There, they located 35-year-old Amber Galbraith. After an investigation, they said that she, an employee at the business within the building, was recently upset by a disciplinary matter at work. She allegedly brought ignitable liquids to the building and tried to get inside, but was stopped by employees.
She was going to set the whole damn building on fire.
Sounds like that was her plan. After leaving the building, she set the parked car on fire outside. No word on any details of the disciplinary action that preceded that incident.
Just a random car she set her up.
Well, they didn't say specifically, but yeah, I'd imagine it was just the one she saw when she walked out.
Who here has the Wapple? That would have been your car.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Some lunatic here in the building is mad and just wants to set any car on fire. It would be Wapple.
Yeah, they go straight for yours?
Yeah.
Yep.
He'd be running towards the door. Oh, no, don't let it be mine. Don't let it be mine. Son of a bitch, it's mine.
It's going to be mine.
Yeah.
Yep. It's mine.
We've seen people in this building have something happen to a vehicle of theirs and not handle it very well.
Oh, God.
There was a coworker we had a long time ago. It was embarrassing, his response.
It was absolutely embarrassing. That guy didn't last long here.
No, he didn't.
For good reason, because he was a douchebag. But what was the story again? He borrowed somebody's motorcycle to bring to work?
Yes.
Okay, so he rode a friend of his motorcycle to work.
Correct.
You tell the rest of the story, because whenever you've told it before, you did a great job of explaining just how remorseful this delivery driver was.
Oh, he felt terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
he looked like he was going to cry. And to his credit, he came back in to say, some people might have just drove away.
Right.
But he came back in and went to the front desk and was so apologetic. We were standing right there.
Yeah.
He was so apologetic. You could tell he felt terrible.
He was delivering something and he tipped over this motorcycle, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was a total accident.
Right.
And the guy who was borrowing the motorcycle came out, was freaking out. He got down on his knees and threw his hands up in the air.
Okay.
Right?
Oh my! This is
no!
Oh my God! No! Please no! Please no! This is how this guy is reacting. Never looked at the delivery driver. Never said, "Hey man, accidents happen." Right, Josh?
No, not at all.
Just blew right past him. All this drama. Oh, poor me.
And if the guy didn't feel bad before,
yeah.
Oh man, we talked to him and like, hey, dude, what are you gonna do? It was a total accident. Sorry for him. We don't know what's going on there. I didn't know him very well. He worked at a different radio station.
This was just such drama, garbage, self-absorbed nonsense coming out of this guy. We both just wanted to kick his ass in the hallway.
It was embarrassing.
Yeah,
it was embarrassing to be a coworker.
So the delivery driver. I'm sure he went away from this thinking, boy, those folks at 93X and KQ are sure a bunch of dramatic a-holes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We tried to at least talk to the guy and say it's okay.
Police in California arrested a man who picked up a woman from behind and licked her from, quote, neck to eye.
Oh.
Police said the man wouldn't let go of her, but thankfully a bystander intervened and helped free the victim.
Just a random lick down.
Yeah. The suspect was arrested after the encounter and is facing some pending charges. A Florida deputy filed a lawsuit Wednesday against a lieutenant with the sheriff's office who went off the rails in a video call. The lawsuit claimed former Lieutenant Charles Albrecht sent a message to Deputy David Harding, asking him to log into a video chat. After Harding did so, you could say Lieutenant Albrecht appeared out of uniform because he was wearing only a wig and women's lingerie. According to the lawsuit, Albrecht told Harding he could have him transferred to a preferred assignment if he only agreed to a sexual relationship. Harding then disconnected from that video chat.
That old agreement again, huh?
Albrecht mentioned that his wife was having an affair, explaining he would leave her to be with Harding, though after being rejected, Albrecht became angry, the lawsuit stated. As a result, he sent Harding a pornographic video of himself engaging in sexual activities while dressed in women's lingerie.
God, no.
Leading Harding to report the incident. The lawsuit claims that within weeks of Harding's rejection, he became the subject of a sham internal investigation, which resulted in criminal charges being filed against him and the termination of his employment. Harding's lawsuit is seeking damages of over $75,000.
We had a guy that used to work in the building that did that exact thing to a delivery driver.
Totally embarrassing.
Yeah, it was embarrassing as hell.
Really embarrassing.
Yeah, we tried to talk the guy down,
But Dana has since apologized and reformed himself. Just after 3 p.m. Wednesday was an after-school special from hell when a 52-year-old North Carolina man, wearing only a T-shirt and a diaper, exposed himself and began shaking his privates at a group of kids filing off a school bus.
Jesus, somebody locked this sumbitch up.
Police obtained video footage recorded by a local family, which allegedly showed Terry Horn in the act. The incident reported that Horn was found wearing an adult diaper and T-shirt, then pulling down the diaper to expose his genitals and shaking them in plain view.
Oh, icky.
He was standing in his front yard when he exposed himself to at least 5 victims. He's facing several years behind bars.
That's gross.
The Transportation Security Administration said marijuana was discovered recently at LaGuardia Airport in New York in a woman's adult diaper. TSA spokesperson Lisa Farbstein said a checkpoint scanner alerted agents to the woman's groin area, resulting in a pat-down. I'd just like the attention paid to my groin, one way or the other. The marijuana was found concealed in a diaper she was wearing. She said the woman was traveling with her mom and was attempting to hide the marijuana from mom by putting it in the diaper. Police allowed the woman to toss the pot and catch her flight. According to TSA policy, marijuana and certain cannabis-infused products remain illegal under federal law, except for products which contain no more than 0.3% THC or that are approved by the FDA.
Trying to hide the dope from her mama.
Yeah, she wasn't worried about TSA, just mom.
Oh, mom won't get high with you?
A man was arrested after downing 4 Locos and destroying a gate at a private hangar near the Nashville International Airport.
Is that what that stuff does to you?
I don't know. I thought
It'll
maybe
mess you up.
I thought it did before they changed it up.
Yeah, they have dummied down the recipe a little bit, so they're not as strong as they used to. But back in the day, yeah, man, that could get you going.
Oof, yeah.
On Wednesday, officers found a black Nissan Altima that drove into the vehicle gate several times. Drove the vehicle into a gate, that leads to an airfield. At the time, there were no occupants in the car, but they did find several open cans of 4 Loko. They shut down the airfield to find the person responsible for the wreck. Police said they found Felipe Perez inside one of the private hangars and noticed he was under the influence. He had red, bloodshot eyes, which were glossed over, slurred speech, and was drinking an alcoholic beverage. Footage of the incident shows Perez pulled up to the gate about 1:43 a.m. and was messing with the keypad. Shortly after, he drove his car into the gate 4 times, then left his car and ran toward the airfield. He told police he drank 4 Locos and was driving his nephew to get some of his belongings where he was working before driving into the gate. He said after the crash, he got scared and ran away. Caused $30,000 worth of damage.
Oh, wow.
That dude was hyped.
Yeah. Authorities say a Pennsylvania man was on drugs when he robbed a bank and was later arrested with his getaway driver still in the car. His elderly mother, 56-year-old Glenn Makshevsky, is accused of robbing the bank late Thursday morning before fleeing the bank's parking lot in a Mitsubishi Mirage with an elderly woman inside. Responding officers later stopped the car and took he and his mother into custody. His mom, who's in her 90s, was later released after investigators concluded she was not involved in the bank robbery.
Once they stopped him, there was a couple $100 strewn about the car. Officers took him under arrest, but he had his 90-year-old mother with him in the car. We brought her in also. She was released later that afternoon. We had to send her home by Uber because there was nobody who could pick her up.
Yeah, that is sad.
A police spokesman said it was one of their most unusual arrests.
This is a strange one. I have never seen anybody hold up or steal with their 90-year-old mother in a car. I wouldn't take my mother on a crime spree, I can tell you that.
The robber was taken to a hospital after his arrest.
Why is he in the hospital? Because of his drug problem. He could barely stand up. He was a mess.
He faces several charges, including robbery and receiving stolen property. A Las Vegas woman was slapped with grand larceny charges after she allegedly ditched her sugar daddy at a U2 concert.
What?
And stole more than $50,000 from his hotel safe.
Oh, wow.
27-year-old Haley McNally was arrested after she allegedly took off with the cash and casino chips belonging to a man in his 50s who she met on Seeking Arrangements, a dating site that connects sugar babies and sugar daddies.
That's where it's at.
I checked that out one time. Remember, we were.
I saw you there.
We talked about it on air, so I made an account to see what it was all about. It's very interesting.
How many sugar daddies do you have now?
I don't know. I wonder if I still have an account that's set up. I should check
look
that
up.
out.
Yeah, do it.
I'd like to know if there's any pending sugar daddies out there, and if we know any of them.
Yeah, maybe they can deliver some food or something.
The victim called police to Caesars Palace Hotel and Casino October 15th to report the missing money and told cops he believed McNally stole it and fled. He said he met the woman on the dating site 5 weeks earlier and became her sugar daddy. He arranged for her to spend the weekend with him at Caesars Palace in exchange for $2,500. Sex was discussed, but never happened, he said. The reported sugar baby was taken into custody last week.
I want to be a sugar daddy pretty badly, but I've always been, I guess, I've learned I'm too low on sugar.
Yeah, you got to have more sugar.
Yeah.
She left the U2 show at the Sphere.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's hard to get into.
That thing looks so cool.
What does it mean to be at a YouTube show at the Sphere?
U2.
U2. Oh, the band.
Yeah, the band. And have you seen the photos of the Sphere?
I love the Sphere.
Like, they have projections on the outside of it and on the inside too, so it makes it look like you're at a totally different place.
Never heard of it, Wapple, but I'll tell you this right now. It wouldn't take too much to get me to walk out of a U2 concert. It wouldn't take too much. I mean, maybe, even if someone just kind of crop dusted our aisle, that would be enough for me to say, well, I'm out of here.
I got to go.
Yeah.
The series is tied at 1 going into tonight's Game 3 of the World Series.
Who you got winning tonight, Josh?
Oh, boy, I don't know. Either Arizona or Texas. One of the two.
It's the thing I love about Josh. He's willing to just go out on a limb. And,
maybe I'll say Arizona since they're hosting. I don't know.
Is Scott Van Pelt aware of your points of view on this year's World Series?
Well, he never gets back to me. I tweet him all the time.
Okay.
The Lions host the Raiders tonight on Monday Night Football. Again, no idea. I'll say the Lions. Why not? Jimmy Kimmel.
You're pretty sly. You know what's going to happen tonight. You just don't want to tell us.
Jimmy Kimmel has Pete Holmes as a guest. Henry Winkler, who turned 78 today, will make an appearance on Stephen Colbert, and Seth Meyers has David Duchovny.
That's probably the one thing that keeps me at a U2 concert is if I'm standing next to Henry Winkler.
Yeah.
I ain't going anywhere.
You're not going to short your time with him at all.
Absolutely not.
Gavin Rossdale of Bush, 58 today, and as I mentioned,
give it up already.
Oh, he's a nice guy.
I'm kidding. I for some reason I lost my cool there.
As I mentioned, Henry Winkler famously played Fonzie on Happy Days. 78. Happy belated birthday to Nightmare Jesus, and a shout out to all the Minnesota teams on their way to Gold Rush Nationals Derby in Rapid City from Junkin' Fools Jesus. That's 93X News.
KARE 11's Randy Shaver.
He's very hairy and has a great disposition. Like I said, he loves to hug and he loves to give kisses.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Second and goal. It's Akers to the goal line. He's in. Touchdown. First rushing TD of the season for Minnesota. Cousins looking end zone. Throws. Touchdown. T.J. Hawkinson. We're down at 8. As Love airs it out looking for Reed. It's picked off. Josh Metellus with the interception. And Metellus is inside the 30 for the Packers 20. Cousins throws, caught, touchdown, Addison. Take a look at what happened to Kirk Cousins moments ago.
It was a non-contact injury.
Just praying for him. We'll see. We don't know what's going to happen. Best quarterback I played with, leadership, all that. So, man, praying for him and his family.
Obviously, Kirk going down is a big blow.
We are fearing an Achilles injury. The severity of that, I do not know at this point, but I know that's what our fear is in the moment, and we'll confirm as soon as possible.
Hopefully our next guest had a wonderful weekend. It's always a hell of a deal to start the week with Randy Shaver and Brad Effenreiter. Hello, bros.
Good morning.
Well, there you go. You had a wonderful weekend, right?
It was okay.
Yeah, had a good weekend.
Uh-oh. I don't
Just
like
okay.
Come on, Randy.
I had to work all day Saturday, so it was...
Unlucky son of a bitch. Was it because of high school football?
It was, but that's the way it goes.
You love that stuff. I have a high school football question for you that came in from a listener before we get started with this and that. A listener wants to know, did you cover Ogilvy?
9-man?
Their 9-man program beat somebody 95-0 in the high school playoffs.
Wow. I don't know if that was this weekend, but we put the score out there. Yes.
Is that for real?
Yeah, Andover put up 85 on Saturday. So
Andover has a high school?
Yeah.
For a long time.
Ogilvy 9-man scored 95 points. Okay, so it rings a bell with you.
It does, yes.
Hey, criminy. That's insane.
Looks like they beat Carleton.
Oh, no.
And then last week they just beat Cromwell.
Cromwell?
Well, those are... Carleton and Cromwell, aren't those neighboring towns?
Yeah.
Not sure.
Right? Carleton, Cromwell, Cloquet, all right? Am I making that up?
I don't know.
Anyway, that's a lot of points to put up on the board in a stinking high school football game. Well,
especially with running time once you get to a certain point.
Yeah.
They do the mercy rule? They start running the clock?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I bet they're making a lot of phone calls over at Vikings headquarters this morning, wouldn't you think?
I would think so.
I would think so last night, yeah.
The Minnesota Vikings, they won in Green Bay yesterday, as they should. The Packers are terrible.
They are so awful.
They're a garbage football team.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. They're bad.
But old Kirk Cousins, his Achilles tendon is a goner, so he's all done.
And you can't blame the turf for this one.
We're not blaming the turf? So what are they going to do now?
Well, here's the only silver lining in this is the fact that it happened before the trade deadline.
Sure.
So they have until Tuesday to figure something out, and I'm sure they have a few contingency plans to figure out what to do to bring in a veteran quarterback. I mean, they have Jaron Hall, who played yesterday, rookie, obviously.
Yeah.
Nick Mullins is on injured reserve, so he's not eligible to come back till week 10.
Jesus.
Sean Mannion is on their practice squad, so there is a veteran presence there, but obviously this is. I mean, the Vikings are 4-4. They've worked super hard to get back to 4-4.
Right.
So my guess is they're going to be a buyer here and try to figure out a quarterback someplace that they can throw in, not right away, but, in a week or two.
Right.
To help them try to salvage
You make
the season.
a trade for somebody, you got to have them practice up for a couple
Sure.
of weeks before you. But that was the argument, or I guess the conversation at the bar yesterday. Do they continue to go for a playoff spot with a 4-4 record and go find a veteran?
I think they will.
I think you owe it to the people, the guys in the locker room right now, because you've got a defense that's playing a lot better than we expected it would.
Hell yeah.
And, you've got, again, you have to think of some of these things behind the curtain a little bit, like Justin Jefferson. Okay, he's an important part of this franchise. He's coming back from injury. What kind of message are you going to send to him? Because he's one of the guys who didn't sign the extension. He got an extension offer. He didn't sign it. And what kind of message are you going to send to him coming back off of injury?
I get it, Brad Ryder.
He has to sign next year, doesn't he? His contract's up.
He'll sign with the Lions or the Rams or someone. Yes. The other side of the coin was some folks at the bar were saying that they should embrace the horror and go with the rest of the year with a young quarterback and start looking forward to next season. You think they'll go the other way?
Not going to happen.
I think they'll go the other way.
Yep.
I really think they'll do something. They'll make some sort of a trade for a veteran quarterback.
All right, let's go through those quarterbacks. This is going to be fun.
I'd say this division is there. I mean, the Lions are good, but the other two teams are garbage, as we've seen. So the division is there for the taking if you can figure something out.
Packer fans are texting in saying you can have Jordan Love.
No thanks.
Well,
no thanks.
Well, Josh Freeman's only 35.
Oh,
What's he up to?
bring him back. That was fun.
And it's funny, though, you mentioned that, for all the people who are clamoring for us to tank the season and draft a quarterback in the first round, how often has that worked out over the last 20 years?
Hell, I don't know. You tell me.
Not other than Patrick Mahomes, it hasn't worked out at all. So, if that's what people want, then, buckle in for a few years of what you saw out of the Packers yesterday.
I hear you, Brad Ryder. This is going to be fun. Now, let's rip through some of these quarterbacks that might be available in a trade. Or maybe they're just sitting around doing nothing. What do we got here? Ooh, the pink crayon.
Oh, yeah.
Andy Dalton.
Oh.
I've always liked him.
Sure.
Yeah, his name's come up.
Huh? I'd like to see that. I've always been a fan of the pink crayon. I've heard the name and seen him once or twice, but I'm not terribly familiar with what he's capable of. Jacoby Brissett.
I don't even know if he's on the roster, is he?
They say here he plays for the Commodores.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Well, you guys aren't really too psyched about that.
No.
Not too psyched about that. Well, I don't know if the Detroit Lions would want to let him go. Teddy's Bridgewater.
I doubt it. I doubt Detroit's going to help the Vikings.
Yeah.
Right.
This one's going to get you. This one is going to... Carson Wentz.
No, thank you.
What?
I'd rather throw Brad Ryder out there.
I'm not sure I would, but...
No, thanks.
I don't know what it means to say this out loud because there have been so many McNowns and McCoys that have played quarterback for anywhere between 5 minutes and 25 years in the NFL. Colt McCoy, I don't know which one that is.
He was the guy that at Arizona who they cut after training camp when they decided to go with Josh Dobbs as their quarterback. So.
Dobbs. I hear you.
I think it's going to be really hard to get anybody's backup at this point of the season because everybody, if they have a capable backup, they're not going to let them go because they're one play away from being the Vikings, essentially.
Sure, absolutely. Good point. But am I right about the McCoys and the McCowns?
Yes, I don't think McCoy is on a roster.
I don't know one from the other. There've been so many of them that have swooped in and out of.
I think that's why you hear Wentz and McCoy's name a little bit now because they're not playing. They're not on anybody's roster.
Okay.
I don't believe.
Yeah, he's a free agent.
Ryan Tannehill, Tennessee Titans.
He probably lost his job after Will Levis had such a great game yesterday with 4 touchdowns.
But again, that goes back to my point. I'm not sure Tennessee's going to let him go because they want a capable backup.
I actually think they have 3 guys there in Tennessee that are
Do you think the San Francisco 49ers want to pass part with Sam Darnold?
I don't think so.
Not after yesterday.
For the same reason that Brad just brought up. I don't think so.
Mike Glennon.
Oh, my God.
Oh, you would be in heaven.
Cliff Keebler.
Yes.
Why don't let's bring back Cliff Keebler.
Bring him back.
That's the number one answer via text we've been receiving.
What does he do for a living
Case
now?
Keenum.
What does he do?
Is he a backup?
Yeah, where was that?
He was in Buffalo last season. I don't know where he ended up.
Yeah, he's with Houston. Yep.
He's with Houston.
Houston.
That'd be funny. Here's my two favorites, though. I'll tell you this right now. I always liked Jameis Winston, man. Ever since he got his eyes fixed, I thought he was fine. Jameis Winston. He's funny, too. He does silly things. He's a fun character, Jameis Winston. Someone call the New Orleans Saints. They say he plays backup quarterback down there. I think that would be their best. Or Kyler Murray. That little guy runs around like a madman.
Not interested.
I don't think he's going to be healthy here, and it would cost way too much.
Too much, and I'm not interested.
Why are you not interested, Brad Ryder?
Because he's injury prone, and I don't think he's as good as everybody thinks he is.
You son of a bitch. What about Jameis Winston?
I mean, if you're talking about that and what we have, I would take Jameis Winston.
I wouldn't overpay, though.
Well, you may not have a choice at this point.
Randy, Cam Newton.
No, thank you.
I was coming. I was waiting for that one.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Get those hats in Minnesota.
I want Cam Newton and Jameis Winston and Kyler Murray and Mike Glennon.
I'm only saying this to stir up Nick.
Go ahead.
How about Tom Brady?
Give him a call. Give him a call.
No, that's not going to happen.
How about Brett Favre?
That's not going to happen either.
Isn't Brent too busy destroying his own life and reputation?
He's doing a good job at it.
Well, there you go. So that's kind of exciting. Hell of a bum deal for Captain Death Rocks, but it's exciting now to be talking about who might be coming to town.
Well, I think the Vikings' thought process for the future of their quarterback position has just been thrown into main gear now. I mean, it's about trying to get through this season and figure out if they can put something together, but now it's really about what lies ahead because he's not going to be back.
I don't necessarily completely agree with that. I don't know. He might be back now, more so now than if he'd have finished the season healthy.
All right. Why do you say that?
Because his free agent value may have decreased just a little bit because he's coming off a serious Achilles injury. He's not going to demand the $40 million a year contract that he might have if he'd have finished the season healthy with gaudy stats. And so I think there's a chance they could bring him back on a 2-year type of deal, a 3-year type of deal at a reduced rate, and then that would fit into their salary cap structure a little bit better next year.
I would greatly dislike that, but all of what you're saying, is making sense. Here's the thing about Jameis Winston and Cam Newton. I bet if they came to town, they'd come to Toys for Tatas.
Especially Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston, if we had crab legs.
Yeah, he'd come.
Because those guys are fun. Oh, man. Cousins ain't coming to Toys for Tatas.
No, definitely not.
Here's a listener texting in. No one's asking how we got in this situation. Why do we only have Jaron Hall as a backup? This is on Kwesi, the new general manager.
They had a backup quarterback who went on injured reserve, so Hall wasn't that guy.
But I think anyone who follows the Vikings a little bit probably looked at the backup quarterback situation over the last couple of years and said, who the hell are these guys?
Mm-hmm. I think you could do that for a lot of teams.
Well, we're not talking about a lot of teams. We're just talking about the Vikings.
And Cousins has been so durable over the years, too.
Right.
So I get where you're going with this dude that texted in about how they got in this situation. I often sat and thought, that's it for backups? This guy who kind of has done nothing and the other guy who's done less than nothing? I always thought that was kind of a mistake myself as well.
The days of Wade Wilson and Rich Gannon on the same roster are few and far between in the NFL.
Well, but we just talked about all these teams that don't want to part with their backup because they're solid backups. So what are you saying? I thought you just said those days are over.
I mean, I'm just saying they had a they had a backup in Mullins who went on the IR. They've got Sean Mannion on the practice squad. They've got their
those guys aren't quality backups.
Well, I'm not so sure there's a lot of what you would call quality backups.
Well, there's a decent amount. We just got done, Brad, and you just got done saying there's certain teams who are not going to part with their backups because they're decent quality quarterbacks.
Well, they're not going to part with their backups because they can't afford to part with their backups. It doesn't matter if they're quality or not.
The teams have fewer. How would I want to say this? There are fewer teams with quality backups now than back when we had the Wilson Gannon days. Yeah.
Right. Well, still, they're out there.
Sean Mannion's only played in 14 games, and 3 of those were starts.
There you go. What happened in the NFL otherwise? I suppose some folks wet their pants because Russell Wilson beat what's-his-nuts?
That was a huge
Christian Hosoi. What the hell's the quarterback's name?
Christian Hosoi.
Patrick Mahomes.
Unlimited.
Mr. Unlimited beat Cutie Pie in a football game.
Yeah. It was the Taylor Swift factor. She wasn't there.
Yep, exactly.
Stop it with that. The Cincinnati Bengals curb stomped San Francisco.
Yeah, they look like they're back.
Brock Purdy does not look good right now.
He's garbage. I told you he was garbage last week. Tonight, the Las Vegas Raiders and Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
There's a long-standing rivalry. Man, it's been fun to watch Detroit and see if they can.
Yeah,
it has definitely.
And they lost big last week to Baltimore, so they're probably primed to knock somebody's.
And all those articles got written up about how overrated they are, right?
They lose tonight, and the Vikings are 1 game out of first.
1 game out of Peterborough lost last night. So as of now, we're in the. All right. Speaking of the Detroit Lions. Just in case you keep track of stupid things, some dude named C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who plays for the Detroit Lions, he said he's hurt. He's not playing. He says that he is officially changing his name. Okay, you know how folks do this?
Yeah.
Yep.
We all know so many people who just up in the middle of their lives change their names, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. People do this. Grown folks do this. So his name is C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He's officially changing his name to CD Deuce, which sounds painful.
What? CD Deuce.
CD. CEEDYDUCE. CD Deuce.
CD Deuce. I think we can all say we've taken 1 or 2
Sounds
times.
like something you do after a bad Mexican meal.
Oh, man.
All right. He says this official name change is a nod to his on-field alter ego.
His on-field.
He has an on-field alter ego. I'm going to try to read this to you. It's a different person. He explained to some poor sucker who works for the Detroit Free Press got locked into a conversation with him on this, and he couldn't walk away. It's a different person, he said. I got an alter ego. I got 2 different people living in me. One plays football, the other just is life. In life, I'm just chilling, but football, I'm a whole different person. People call me Seedy on the football field, or Deucey, or sometimes they call me CJ or Chauncey. So remember that now.
I don't know how I can forget that.
Did you hear what he explained the whole thing?
Yeah.
How do you know?
Yes. And it all makes sense.
Airtight logic.
Yes, it does.
CD Deuce. Ow. Ow. What's wrong? What's going on in there? Man, it's kind of seedy.
Oh, yeah.
Stings a little bit. Adrian Peterson, he's the new Terrell Owens. He's calling for an NFL team to sign him before the playoffs.
I can still play. I feel like I got the ability to get out there and outperform a lot of these kids that I see playing today. And I definitely still want to play. I still have the passion and the desire and the love to get out there and go out there and put my best foot forward. So whether that's before playoffs here soon, I'll be ready to go out there and make some happen.
Please leave us alone.
Yes, go away.
Can he play quarterback?
Right.
No.
It's sad because he needs the money.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
I'm sure you're right.
Just stop it.
Couldn't even win Dancing with the Stars.
Say again?
He couldn't even win Dancing with the Stars.
No, he did not.
Guy from the Brady Bunch outlasted him.
Barry Williams?
Yeah.
Please no longer refer to Barry Williams as the guy from the Brady Bunch.
I couldn't think of his name.
It's Barry Williams.
All right, so I've ignored this topic, and I really haven't read many of the details just because it's boring. But you guys tell me. Listeners have been texting in day after day telling me this University of Michigan sign stealing deal is a thing.
Yeah.
And at first, I remember you guys said this is not a thing. But
Yeah, you're right.
People are saying it's a thing.
Yeah, at first I didn't think it was, but the more every day goes by and the more that's uncovered, it is a thing. It's a big deal.
Yeah. And it's beautiful because it's Jim Harbaugh.
And he's trying to defend it.
How is he trying to defend it?
Well,
See, like I told you, I haven't been reading
He
into
went
it.
on a news conference and said, we're trying to find all sorts of ways to win.
So
I don't
he's trying to
think
sell it as what a dedicated coach he is?
that's the way I took it.
Oh, yeah?
When I listened to what he said. I don't know if he specifically condoned this guy going to all these different games or paying people to do that. But I think he was talking about watching an opponent's signs in general and trying to figure out what they're trying to do.
This is fun. Again, I can't get too deep into it because I just don't care enough. But it is fun that it looks like this is becoming a thing.
It's interesting. Go ahead.
They were just about to give him a contract, too. A huge contract.
Yeah, they're waiting on that now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's interesting. The only team that beat them last year, they got curb stomped a little bit by TCU, was a team that had 30 days, if you read into this stuff enough, they had 30 days to change their signs before the game. And that didn't work out so well for Michigan.
So why doesn't college football just go to like the NFL and have the mics and the helmets?
They could.
I guess they
Technology's
could.
certainly there.
Yeah.
Let's see this. So we're getting some text messages now. Don't all teams try and steal the other team's
Sure
signs?
they do.
It's almost like we're talking about the Astros
Sure they
again, isn't it?
Right.
But it seems like it's part of the game, says a listener. Well, yeah, but you can't send a guy. There's rules. Sure, you steal signs during a game, right? You spy on this and that. But what we're talking about specifically is it's against the rules to send someone to another club's game with video equipment and whatnot and record their signs. That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. Right.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
right. They'd use their phone and yes.
Yeah, buying tickets on the opposite sideline so you can get a viewpoint to record it.
Oh, man. Isn't it funny how some of these arrogant bastards just think, this ain't going to come back and bite me in the ass?
To me, the larger one, there's another kind of side story going on here. If you've read about this a little bit, there's an assistant coach, an offensive assistant coach, who's been accused of hacking into Ohio State's computer cloud system. Have you read about this one?
No.
The FBI was on campus at Michigan last week to interview him and a few other people about this part of this, which is kind of separate from the sign stealing thing. But he could be in some big
yeah, that's a crime.
trouble. Yeah,
It's one thing to go to a game and-
a federal crime because they're now thinking that he may have hacked into Ohio State's computer cloud to steal emails and game plans and things like that.
College football.
Yeah, seriously. Calm down.
Ohio State wants him to throw it out. They're like totally guilty. They don't want him to play for the national championship.
College effing football. Student athletes. And this is where we're going with this.
Yeah, well, it's not really student athletes anymore.
Well, I
Not
know.
with the NIL.
I'm
It's
aware of all
changed.
that nonsense, and they've
Yeah,
got to.
that story came out, I think, Thursday last week, Thursday or Friday, and that, to me, that's a much bigger deal.
Yes.
If they start uncovering stuff like that, they are in big trouble.
Time out for a special announcement. The holidays aren't too far away, don't you know? So let's let folks in on the 93X Nutcracker. The 93X Nutcracker concert will be coming to town Friday, December 8th at the Armory with the following acts: Falling in Reverse, Daughtry, and Sleep Theory. Heads up, folks. Tickets are on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. Turn on your radio. You can listen at the 9 a.m., 1 p.m., and 4 p.m. Blitz all week for your chance to win tickets. Come on now. Here we go. The 93X Nutcracker. December 8th at the Armory, Falling in Reverse, Daughtry, and Sleep Theory.
I went to a Daughtry concert about a year ago. And I've never seen more horny middle-aged women in my life.
I bet.
Oh, my goodness.
You haven't been to Trail Stop in Egan.
I actually have, and you're right.
Yeah, that's so funny, Josh. I was thinking the exact same thing. I live like 3 miles from there, and you live closer, I think.
I do, and I was out with my brother and sister-in-law and mom over the weekend. I was asking them, "You guys want to go pick up some cougars at Trail Stop?" Nobody wanted to go. That's where you go in Egan.
Yeah, you do.
I'm sure you're right about the horny ladies at Daughtry, but let me fill you in on a couple of acts as well, Dana, if that's your thing. Air Supply, Rick F. Me Runnin' Springfield.
Really?
I'll bet that was out of control.
I'll be damned.
I'd be one of them for Rick Springfield.
They're just not wearing as much black as the ladies at the Daughtry concert. They're a little more fancy dressed at Rick Springfield. Oh, one more for you. Billy Idol.
Really?
They could not keep their hands to themselves when Billy Idol came to town a few years ago. Okay. The Pigs, they haven't come out the gate the way they hoped. They got beaten Newark, New Jersey yesterday by the Devils. The final was 4-3. They've dumped 3 games in a row now. Granted, one of them was one of those silly high school shootout losses to Washington on Friday or Saturday night. Jesus, did that take forever? That friggin' stupid shootout. But the boys were close yesterday, but no points. Spray tan man looked like he was wound pretty tight yesterday afternoon. This is part of a home-and-home deal. The Devils come to town for a game Thursday night now. That's what they're doing. You following that?
Yes.
Yep.
We talked about this terrible hockey story from overseas with the local kid. We covered it already. I'd like to give both of you an opportunity to say whatever you want to say.
It's just tragic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the video once, and I cannot watch it again.
Oh, I couldn't watch it.
I don't think I could watch that.
Yeah, I saw it once, and you don't want to watch it.
I can't even imagine. It's just heartbreaking.
In case you're just coming to, a kid from Hibbing by the name of Adam Johnson playing overseas died on the ice, or at least the accident happened on the ice. There was a collision on the ice. His neck was cut by a skate blade. They tried to get him to the hospital. I think he died, was revived, and then died again. This was a couple days ago. Local dude went to UMD, playing some pro hockey over there in England, and he's gone. And it's horrible. And like I said, we talked about it already. We can't even imagine what his folks are going through because they were watching it live on the internet.
Oh my God.
I did watch some interviews with people who were there, and it was just watching their reaction, them talking about what they saw is terrible.
Yeah, it's just...
Yeah, I saw one dad tweeted, like, his first instinct was, oh crap, like, I have to cover my kid's eyes.
Oh,
like, they're about to see something that they're not gonna forget.
Yep.
So sad.
Damn terrible. You probably thought this had already happened, but I guess not. Jumbo Joe Thornton has officially retired from the NHL following a 24-year career. Now, he hasn't played in a couple years.
Wow.
He's 44 now. He hadn't played in a couple years. I thought he had already made an official announcement. He hadn't. So he officially declared that he is retired.
He has a beautiful beard.
He got a little overboard with that friggin' beard, I'll tell you that. But it was beautiful, no doubt. It's just him when he and Burns were playing together on the Sharks. It was kind of gross to watch them both. Like,
Burns' beard was disgusting.
There's spit and false teeth and gum and
a bird.
Like, we get it, okay? We get it. You guys can grow. Thornton had a great career. Finishes his career as the 12th highest scorer in the history of the game. Game 3 of the World Series begins tonight, 7 o'clock on Channel 9. The series is tied at 1 win apiece. Tonight is the first of 3 at the Arizona Diamondbacks ballpark.
Yep.
First of 3.
It's been a good series. It's been fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's not a lot of people that are paying attention to it, but it's been fun to watch so far.
Game 1, the Rangers won dramatically in 11 innings. Game 2, Arizona whooped a llama's ass. Tonight, the starting pitchers will be Brandon Pfaadt. Again, we had some fun with his name last week, I think. Brandon Pfaadt for the Arizona club, and Max Scherzer for Texas. Brandon Pfaadt. Adolis Garcia set a big league record in Game 1 of the World Series. He went 3 for 4 with a walk. He scored a couple of runs, 2 RBIs, and, of course, he slugged the walk-off dong. Yes, Randy?
He's been amazing.
Yeah, he's been a machine, an absolute machine.
Yeah.
The 2 RBIs he had in Game 1 gave him 22 for the postseason, which is more than any other player has achieved in a single postseason in big league history. Now, obviously, they're playing way more games now than they ever have, but it is what it is. He broke the old record of 21 RBIs from David Freese back in the 20+11 postseason.
Wow.
Forgot about that
from
name.
The past.
Yeah.
There was another player who set a record. This one was in Game 2. Arizona Diamondbacks second baseman Ketel Marte. What did he do? He had a hit in the game, and so now he has had at least one hit in 18 consecutive postseason games. So he's got a hit in all 14 of the Diamondbacks playoff games this season, and he's recorded at least one hit in every single postseason game he played in his career. And again, there's lots more opportunities for these guys.
It's not all he did.
Marte swing and a miss, throw from high, was offline, and a stolen base for Marte. And America's just scored a free taco.
Free taco!
Oh, yay!
Yay.
He's the guy who got us the free taco?
That's right.
Well, that's probably, get ready, this is stupid. That's probably going to make Brandon Pfaadt.
That took me a second, but I liked it a lot.
Gotcha, Randy. Gotcha.
Why?
Ratings.
Yes.
That's why.
Really?
Yeah, really.
How far we've fallen.
No, we were pretty down there, I think.
I wonder if he refers to his house as a certain chamber.
A chamber of thoughts?
Yeah.
Thought chamber?
If, in fact, he has a family in a big house, that is the chamber of thoughts. So now you're happy, Randy?
Yes. Now it makes sense.
You're a complicated guy.
It all makes sense.
A couple's costume made it to a few sports websites. Here we go, Halloween, right? A couple's costume made it up on a few sports websites. I hope some of you have seen this. This couple, a guy-girl, was dressed up. The guy is former big league pitcher Randy Johnson, and the girl is the bird that he killed with a pitch at spring training.
I saw this picture yesterday.
It's up on 93x.com.
Check it out on our website.
I got jealous when I saw this. I was like, gosh, that's such a smart costume.
That was pretty funny.
The girl is the bird that he killed with a baseball at spring training 20 years ago, whatever it was.
That's awesome.
Happening in a fraction of a second.
Everybody just kind of caught their breath for a moment and said, what in God's name just happened?
In order to do video back then at Tucson Electric Park, I had to just bring a camera out to the center field camera well. Randy Johnson's on the mound. I just sit there and record each pitch.
Out of my left periphery, I actually saw this bird coming from basically where the Diamondbacks dugout was.
A blur going across home plate, the ball simultaneously hitting that blur.
It literally just turned into a cloud of feathers.
I just got a brilliant idea from East Winstead Jesus on who going back to the Vikings are suddenly in need of a quarterback. Nobody thought of this except for East Winstead Jesus. Joe Mauer.
Well, that was on Twitter last night.
Yeah.
As soon as the injury happened.
I got another idea for you.
Joe Mauer.
Has there ever been a combination head coach quarterback before?
Oh. Kevin O'Connell.
You know what? A few people text in that too.
He's younger than Tom Brady. He's only 38.
Yeah, but he wasn't any good at it.
Well, yeah, but nobody knows the system better than he does.
That's true. That's very true.
He wouldn't have to audible in plays and get delay game penalties.
That's
anymore.
hilarious. Hey, dude, we haven't completed a pass yet. Yeah, but I know the system. Okay, here we go, guys. On 3, ready, break. This guy sucks, but he knows the system.
He could step in this week.
Joe Mauer. One of the funniest lines I ever heard at a bar was We were watching a big Twins playoff game many years ago. And obviously, let's say you're young and you don't know this, but Joe Mauer was an excellent high school quarterback.
He was.
For Creighton.
He's going to go to Florida State.
There was that conversation, but he chose baseball. He was a very talented
He
quarterback.
was the National Gatorade Player of the Year his senior year.
So we're watching this big Twins game at the Legion in Wayzata many years ago, and Twins were down a run, had a couple guys on base, and Mauer was at the plate, and we're all like, come on, we need one more base hit. Let's get this win, you son of a bitch. And Mauer hit a little slow roller to second base, and that was the final out of the game. One of my buddies puts his beer down, and he says, should have played football. And this was after Mauer had already won, 2 batting titles and an MVP. Right. Should have played football. Timberwolves are in Atlanta tonight to play the Hawks. That ball game will be televised on Bally Sports North at 6:30. Nice win Saturday night at home.
Yep.
Jimmy Butler doesn't have the balls to play against the Wolves here in Minneapolis.
What? God, what a loser.
He is a loser.
It's October.
Doesn't have the balls to play in front of the crowd here in Minneapolis.
He's out for rest, is what they said.
Wasn't it their third game, too, or something?
Yeah, they played in Boston the night before.
Brad Ryder, don't try to defend Jimmy Bottles on this one. That was chicken S is what that was. Absolute chicken is what that was.
Joke.
I wish he still had his emo haircut.
Me too.
That was a bummer that he didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
That was so weak, it was ridiculous.
Where is Jimmy Chance from this Target Center crowd? Jimmy Butler's in street clothes. There's kiss to the crowd.
That's awesome.
He loves that, too.
He sure seemed to be eating it up.
Of course he does. He loves anything where the focus is on him.
Yep.
What a douchebag. There was an article posted in the Pioneer Press about Naz Reid and how he is loved by Timberwolves fans and players alike. I'd like to remind everyone that I loved him before anybody else did. I'd like my due credit for that.
Well, I've got a stat for you that you'll love then.
Dump it on me, Brad Ryder.
Saturday night, Naz Reid was plus 30, and Carl was plus 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that happens.
I'll just let that sit out there.
That discussion is going to continue as long as those numbers look like that.
Yep, and it looked like that in the first game, too.
Yep.
Well, Naz is a pimp.
That discussion
I'll just leave it sit there. I got a feeling. I was just saying we'll have a feeling we'll be talking.
Leave it sit there.
No, I was just going to say I have a feeling we're going to be discussing that for a few weeks.
You hope so because you hate Carl. You love Jimmy Bottles.
I think this team could be better if they gave the reins a little bit more to our guy Ant.
Well, everyone's had that conversation, and we might just end up seeing that sooner than you think.
Yeah.
So there you go. A dude that plays for the Washington Wizards appeared to have picked his nose and ate his boogers on live television Saturday night.
This is up on 93x.com.
I'm sorry.
He definitely did.
That sure looked like it.
Yeah.
I don't know another thing that could have happened.
You can't dispute it.
It is gross. His name is Corey Kispert. He was playing basketball there, whatever night that was, Saturday night for the Washington Bullets, Wizards, whatever they are. He had a great first half, but this ruined it. He had 22 points, 8 of 12 shooting, 5 3-point baskets in the first half. At the end of the first half, he appears to eat one of his boogers. He doesn't score a point in the second half.
Do you get a good pile, did it look like?
They didn't really do a close-up on it.
Unfortunately, the camera caught him standing there. You know, a foul was called. The players are standing around, and it looked like he picked his nose and then bit at whatever he found in there.
That would have been great if the graphics team put up all of his stats and then at the end, one booger.
Or before booger, he had this.
Yeah.
After booger.
After burger.
Poor guy. Cameras caught him.
You got to know the cameras.
Yeah, at this point, 2023.
I don't get that. That's just. I don't get booger eaters, man.
No, that was pretty gross.
God.
I never have. You know, when I was a little kid, I'm sure I did some disgusting things. But even from the time I was a tiny little kid, I didn't get the booger eaters. What are you doing? How could you do that? How did Flavor Flav do singing the national anthem at the Milwaukee Bucks game the other night?
Great.
I've heard better.
He had a lot of passion.
That's what I heard. I heard he tried his ass off, and you know what? That's good enough for me.
It seemed like he tried. Yeah.
He knew the words.
That's the important part.
Hell, I couldn't guarantee that I'd get through it. I'd probably F it up.
Tried to put his own flair onto it.
Yeah.
Did not work out.
His own flavor, you could say.
I like Flavor Flav. He was singing the damn national anthem at the Milwaukee Bucks game. You know, of course, some loved it, some hated it.
The reactions of the players are the best, though.
Are they laughing and having a good time?
Well, they got their heads down, but
Yeah, you can tell they're laughing.
Good for Flavor Flav. I like that dude. I mean, his television show was kind of gross.
Yeah, definitely gross.
Yeah. But I always thought he was a fun guy. It says here, here's what I read. The NBA season will consist of 1,230 different renditions of the Star-Spangled Banner between now and the end of the season. Of those renditions, this was certainly one of them. But I heard a little bit of it off air, and like I said, it sounded like he was really giving her. And good for him. All right, there you go. We're all done. What I'll do with... Oh, one more note for Wapple and Dana and myself, mainly, I think, is the only reason why we... You guys would know how to do this. I wouldn't. This is from Camp Ripley Jesus. Morning, ass hat, he says to me. In the spirit of Halloween on the streaming app Peacock, they have every Halloween Havoc wrestling episode from '89 on.
Ooh,
that's pretty sweet.
That is cool.
Yeah, because Peacock is the leading library, I guess, for all of WWE.
Well, yeah, they have WWE Network on Peacock.
I remember watching old Halloween Havoc pay-per-views when I was a younger person.
Yeah, I remember a big Sting Hogan match I won when I was in middle school.
Dude, was it a Halloween Havoc where it was Hulk Hogan and Dennis Rodman against Sting and Karl Malone or something like that?
Uh-huh.
Good Lord.
Looking back, that was a little bit forced.
I don't know. There you go.
What was your first clue?
When I was 12, I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen.
Oh, man. We got to go, boys. Thank you. We'll talk to Randy tomorrow, Brad on Wednesday.
Okay.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
Dr. P. Jesus.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
This ought to be something. Here he is on the telephone, Dr. James Parnell, otherwise known as Dr. P. Jesus. Text us if you'd like the advice of a professional doctor. 651-989-9393 is the route you take to get a hold of us. Hello, Jamesy.
Hello, Nikki.
How have you been?
Doing okay. Yeah. Kind of mentally adjusting to what appears to be winter.
Is that where we're headed, you think, at this
point?
point?
Well, I don't know. It looks. I mean, I didn't actually believe my little weather app when I was looking at it. Maybe last Thursday, suddenly it was going to be from 50s to 30s. Come on.
Might even snow tonight. They're saying.
Yeah.
It's time to put the top up on that convertible you drive around town in.
Indeed.
Doesn't he have some kind of hotshot convertible, and he wears flat-brimmed Red Bull hats like he's a 20-year-old?
You got to put the chains on the Mustang. Put the chains on your Mustang tires.
Right. That's true. If I was a real man, that's what I would be doing.
Josh says when you're away from work, you dress like an X Games athlete.
He sure does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Fred Durst, right?
That's
Fred
true.
Durst.
He'll be blasting some Limp Bizkit.
Right.
Yeah. We were separated. We were separated at birth, I think.
He's got to be 50 years old at this point, Brett.
Oh, I think.
Look at Fred Durst today. They look alike.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
right.
He's not even joking. Dr. P and Fred Durst today look very similar.
I'll have to look that up when I get a minute, but here's the deal. Like I mentioned, Dr. P can help you out if you text us 651-989-9393. I got one here we can start with if you're all settled in, Dr. P.
Yeah, let's go for it.
This sounds terrible. Absolutely terrible. Bouncer Jesus texted in. 40 minutes ago this morning, he stepped on a nail.
Oh. Owie.
Stepped on a nail. and he said, they are making me go get a tetanus shot. Must be his employers, I would imagine.
Yeah.
They are making me go get a tetanus shot. What will happen if I decide not to?
Well, yeah. I mean, if it happened at work, I'm sure they are, obviously strongly encouraging it. I mean, if you don't recall when you last had a tetanus shot, and if you have a wound like that, if it's been more than a few years, you absolutely need to go in. I mean, tetanus is it comes from a bacteria that could be anywhere. It's like basically a ubiquitous bacteria. So, but particularly on anything that's, dirty, rusted, anything like that. And, I mean, you can die from that. So it's one of those things you just don't want to fool around with it. Because it's, we don't see it very often because people are so vaccinated, but, it's sort of like rabies. Like the last thing you want is to be a victim of tetanus, just like you don't want to be a victim of rabies. So
Okay.
go get the shot and get it. They need to kind of clean it out too.
Maybe he's one of these guys who doesn't like shots.
Could be, but I assume he likes to be alive.
Let's
Maybe
hope
he
so.
doesn't.
That's a great way to put it, really, honestly. What do you hate more? Shots or no longer being alive?
Right.
We're not making it to the end of the day.
Suck it
Exactly.
up. I'm sure it sucks. I'm sure it hurts and all that, and it's uncomfortable. But don't die on us, Bouncer Jesus.
But he can probably milk like a day off out of it.
Oh, I bet you can get more than
definitely.
one. More than one, maybe. Yeah, look at it that way. Good advice, Dr. P.
Exactly.
Dr. P, this person says, I have pitted feet that hurt and stink. What do you do for that? I had my college roommate had that, and it was awful.
What does that mean, Josh?
Well, he had like little orange holes in his feet, almost looked like a sponge. And it was his feet. I've never smelled anything like it in my life.
I don't
It's
like the way
terrible.
that looks. It stresses me
Really?
out. There's too many little holes.
You're looking it up?
Yeah,
Well,
I didn't like that.
This uncomfortable listener didn't mean to stress you out, Ashley. That sounds terrible. Pitted feet. Holy buckets.
That's weird. I have actually not heard that term before. I assume. I mean, I would think it's got to be a fungal thing if it smells bad.
Is it because it's eaten away your feet?
Again, truly, a pitted feet is a term I haven't. Ashley, what are you looking at it right now?
Yeah, it's called pitted keratolysis. It says it's a bacterial skin infection.
Okay, pitted keratolysis. Okay, yeah,
There you go.
that's
Yeah, that's what I said.
That would be an unusual condition. So, but yeah, I mean, if you get bacteria or fungus in any kind of wounds, I mean, it sounds like basically just little pockets of bacteria, which are it's gonna just like if you the pimple popper type things, those things that come out of the skin are horrible smelling, and so this would be just little versions of that.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's like bad cheese.
That's what it smelled like. Yeah, it was sick, bro.
Bad.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's right. It's vomit time basically.
Okay.
So presumably that's going to require some antibiotics, and probably seeing a dermatologist. Just because, again, I don't remember ever seeing that in all my years. So.
Wow.
Yuck.
That sounds pretty nasty, by damn.
It does. It does.
And, I mean, that's embarrassing, too. I mean, you can't go to someone's house and take your shoes off or take your just...
Yeah, and during the break, I'll look up a little bit more about it just to be able to offer some more. But yeah, again, unusual condition, so would be probably a dermatologist who could help guide some sort of regimen to either get rid of acute infection or hopefully prevent that kind of thing from happening. Maybe it's a buildup of skin that sort of prevents sweat glands from working right, and then you get infection. But I'll take a look.
Well, I can tell you my buddy got his cleared up.
He did.
I don't know everything he did, but
just cut his feet off.
No, he still got his feet.
Oh man,
he just kept offering them to you to smell, and you're like, oh yeah, they're good now.
Oh yeah, you could just be outside the building and smell them.
Maybe Josh. Maybe that's what was wrong with our old coworker Tunafoot.
Yeah, maybe he had that going on. I never saw his feet.
We had a guy in the building many years ago, 2 decades ago, who his feet were so rotten at all times. It didn't matter if he changed shoes, so we called him Tuna Foot. Here's another text coming in for Dr. P. Jesus, who's helping our listeners out with their health concerns, 651-989-9393. A listener says, I have been diagnosed with premature ventricular contractions. I'm wearing a heart monitor now for the next 7 days. What am I up against here? They asked the question, how bad is PVC/PAC?
Yeah, well, PVCs are just like you said, premature ventricular contractions. So that's the atrium or the atria or the upper parts of the heart. There's a left and a right, and then the ventricles are the lower parts of the heart.
Okay.
Then there's a left and right. So PVCs, which is what he's asking about, are actually very common. Pretty much everyone has them sometimes, and it basically means. It's hard. I'm not sure how much detail to get into, but normally there's a very small part of your upper part of your heart that controls your heart rate, and then the cells there start a beat or start the electrical activity. It spreads through the heart, then goes down to the bottom, and you get the upper or lower, so lub-dub, bum bum. That's That's the heartbeat. PVC is when the bottom part of the heart just kind of fires off an extra beat early.
Okay.
And then your heart has to say, okay, wait a second. And then it goes back to normal. And those happen intermittently. Most people aren't aware of them. Some people can feel them.
Yeah.
So they're really normal and not concerning unless you're having a ton of them.
Okay.
Then maybe that's an indication something weird is going on. But it would not typically be something that you need to be horribly worried about. It's more annoying.
This is basically an irregular heartbeat, then, is what this meant. Basically?
It's an irregular heartbeat would be more something where, if you looked at the heart rhythm for like a minute, it's changing and it's not steady.
Okay.
But, these are simply, it's like a beat that'll happen early and then the heart goes back to normal and then a beat that'll happen early.
Oh, okay. Sure.
And PACs are the same idea. It's just a different part of the upper part of the heart may fire off a beat. And again, our hearts do these things. It's just if you're having a ton of them, or if you're feeling them, or if when they happen you feel lightheaded. So the monitor that he's wearing is basically a way for the heart rhythm to be monitored over a certain amount of time, and then it can be analyzed and figured. Yeah. But PVCs are the most common sort of occasional weird heartbeat that we get that some of us feel, and people often will sort of feel like, ooh, I felt like my heart just skipped.
I feel mine.
Yeah, right.
I can feel mine.
Yep. And it's interesting why some people are aware of it. I don't know.
I'm interested in people who don't feel it. How do you not feel it?
That's a good question.
I feel it every single time.
Maybe you're too yoked? Is that it? Are you too yoked?
I am usually pretty yoked.
That's probably it.
Well, for this guy, I hope that something, and I don't mean this the wrong way, I hope that something happens while you're wearing your heart monitor, right, Dr. P, so the doctors can get a look at exactly what's happening.
For sure, yeah.
Because when I had heart troubles in my early 20s, they'd hook me up with that week-long heart monitor, and not a damn thing would happen.
Of course.
It's like when you bring your car to the mechanic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, you feel so stupid.
It's the worst.
Yeah. These days when you would have had that done, Nick, there were fewer options. Now there's pretty easy options, which are almost like a patch that can be put on that you can wear for, I think, a couple weeks or even longer to really, monitor for quite a while. Because, you don't want to, it's frustrating if it doesn't happen while you're being monitored.
Yeah.
You picked him up. You dropped him, Jesus said. Can you ask Dr. P what happens if you don't get your MCL fixed? I tore mine. I'm just suffering with the pain.
So that's the medial collateral ligament of the knee.
Isn't that what you had or something similar to that? What was your deal?
The ACL is the one that's the most common sort of sports injury that you hear about. So the anterior cruciate ligament, basically there's in the middle of the knee, there's the anterior and posterior cruciate ligaments. And they are the ones that really stabilize the knee. Then on the outer parts of the knee, there's the medial one towards your other knee and the lateral. So the MCL is the medial collateral ligament, then there's the lateral collateral. The ACL is the one that if you tear it, it's really tough to get by if you're young, and especially if you're an athlete, you have to get it reconstructed somehow. Whether they sometimes will use like a tendon that's part of your kneecap or part of your hamstring muscle, or more commonly these days is you actually have a cadaver ligament from a dead body. Yes, indeed.
That's always kind of fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally cool. But the MCL is, so the medial collateral ligament will often get injured as part of other injury, just because it's usually a twisting injury. So you usually tear some cartilage and maybe your ACL. It depends how active you are and how bad the tear is. If it's a complete tear, that means the ligament literally is, torn in half. There's a ligament sprain is essentially various degrees of that. So the fibers can get stretched. That's a minor one, stretched a little more, almost torn, and those are different degrees. And so it depends how bad it is. But if the knee's unstable or if it's just really painful, then, it's going to have to be.
He said it's painful.
Work. Yeah, I mean,
walking around with that, I can't imagine walking around with that day after day.
I have a buddy who tore his ACL a couple of years ago. Hasn't done anything about it.
Oh,
yeah, right.
Is there pain involved?
I mean, he lives a pretty doesn't work out or anything. So I think
I've heard of that as a sedentary lifestyle.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah. So I mean, right. Any of these ligaments, I mean, you can get by without, unless you're trying to do something where it demands more stability out of your knee. And the MCL it prevents your knee from, the MCL prevents it from not bow-legging, but being knock-kneed, essentially.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, is it a good excuse to get out of helping friends move?
No, I think that's like a gold card to get out of that.
Man.
Yeah.
So there might be a reason not to get the procedure done.
If this guy's in his 20s, I would not get that procedure done. Because that's when everybody's moving between about 18 and 30 years old, and you would never have to help. That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
I have occasionally with, patients that were fun and I knew would, not use it unwisely, written a little prescription like that or something. Unable to help patients move or friends move for the following time
That's
period.
brilliant. My brother is hauling around 2 separate hernias right now, Dr. P. Jesus.
He probably needs a note too.
And I think it's because his kids are in their 20s. You know what I'm talking? They're going to
doesn't want to move.
Doesn't want to help him with nothing. He's going to keep these 2 hernias hanging off of down. One of them kind of hangs over his belt line. It's hilarious.
But for you pick him up, you dropped him, Jesus. Would you recommend he does get that fixed? Is that
I think, I assume he's probably seen an orthopedist and talked about it. It's absolutely just a decision. He didn't say how old he was, right?
He did not, no.
Yeah, so it's a matter of how active are you? What are you wanting your knee to do that it's now not able to do? How much does it hurt? And the MCL repair is it's just not as common as the other ones. So you'd want to talk to a surgeon who does those repairs. And we have fantastic orthopedic, clinics in the Twin Cities. So there's good resources. Go talk to the surgeon and decide whether it's worth it and whether it's going to get you doing what you want to be doing again.
This might just be the liquor talking, but a question just came to mind for me. I wonder if anyone's just absolutely turned their ACL or MCL to dust when they were playing Dance Dance Revolution back in the day.
I remember stories about people being injured for that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I guarantee it, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yes, that would be, because you would be sort of jumping, planting, twisting.
Yes.
And that's exactly how you do those things.
There was a stretch of time at the neighborhood arcade where there was always 5-6 people bouncing up and down on that. Here's one for you, Dr. P. Jesus. We got to take a break here shortly, but I think we can dangle with one more. From Laser Cutter Jesus. I don't know how the hell this happened. He said he took a good punch to the face this weekend.
Oh.
Someone punched him right in his eye.
Ouch.
He has a large, swollen, hard lump under his left eye. Is that anything that a pimp would need to worry about? Large, hard, swollen lump.
I would say that should be looked at, yes. If a hard, swollen lump.
But you should see the other guy.
Oh, yeah.
If there's any concerns about like a a facial fracture or an eye socket fracture, which it sounds like I would be worried about, you don't want to ignore that.
Yeah, take that over to the doctor's office and show him that lump,
Yeah, it really, you don't want to like risk losing an eye.
No, you don't want to risk. You ever gotten how many bar fights you been in, Dr. P. Jesus?
I've been in 0. I was actually just telling this story the other day to some people. The only, I'm going to say quote unquote fight I was in really was in 4th grade. A kid at the bus stop made fun of my saxophone, and I bopped him in the nose.
With the saxophone?
No, with my hand. And he just looked stunned, and that was it. And then I kind of felt bad about it.
So you booped the guy.
I booped him. Yeah, I booped him. I know, pretty manly, eh?
Before we go from Front Load Jesus, think about this over break. He says it's weird. He's got a hard, swollen lump in his pants thinking about Wapple's mom. Let us know what that's about.
Yeah, got to get that looked at.
651-989-9393.
Dr. P. Jesus.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, she's gotten all the way up to 8:50 a.m. here on the program. Dr. P. Jesus is with us this morning on the damn telephone. He is helping folks out who have questions about their gorgeous bodies. Did you look up the deal about some dude texted in earlier? He had smelly, rotting craters on the bottoms of his feet, and you were going to look further into that.
Yeah. So, pitted keratolysis, which Ashley identified, is it's actually not necessarily an uncommon condition in very warm and humid parts of the world. So I think that's why we never see it here. It's more like, jungles and stuff like that. So because it basically is heat, humidity, and a particular, several different strains of bacteria. So yeah, it can be treated with topical antibiotics or oral antibiotics, but I've never seen it. Just looking at a few pictures, so
it's pretty. The picture's pretty bad.
It doesn't look terrible. It just looks, it just looks weird. A little. It's not like
I was hoping you'd find a set of feet that look worse than mine, but apparently you haven't. So
I've still never seen your feet.
They're getting better.
Maybe we should leave it that way.
They're getting better. Really, honestly, if you would have looked at them 3 years ago, you would have vomited. They're getting better. I'm being nicer to my feet.
I'm glad to hear that.
All right, what else you got over there, Cubby, for Dr. P to the rear Jesus?
I think this is the first we've had for something like this, Dr. P. This person, unfortunately, was attacked by a neighbor's dog. And said the wound isn't healing very fast. It happened about a week ago. This is from It's Not 12 Inches, but Smells Like a Foot, Jesus.
Oh. God help us.
Wants to know if he should go in.
Where did he get bit?
Oh, man. So suggesting he's not been seen?
Correct.
Oh, geez, yes. You anytime you're bitten by an animal, or actually, anytime you're bitten by an animal or a human. You need to have it. You need to go in because.
Wait, why? Because human.
Yeah, bacteria and all that.
Yeah. Very.
Like Wapple just had a dirty salami sandwich, and then he bites your arm.
Right.
Okay.
God, he does talk about cold cuts a lot after the show.
He does.
It's weird. He talks about it all the time.
Wapple has oral sex with some strange woman and then bites your arm. You know what I mean?
Wapple does say the word pepperoni a lot. Yes, anytime you're bitten by an animal or human, or if you're scratched by an animal, you really want to go in because it's highly likely that you get a bacterial infection. Especially if it's a puncture wound for sure, because it needs to be cleaned out and you need to be on antibiotics. So this needs to be seen because if it's on if it's on your hand or your arm, if it gets into a tendon or something, it'll start. It can start.
Is everyone thinking back to when they got bit by a dog?
I've never been bit by a dog.
What? None of you have been bit by a dog?
I've been scratched to beat the band in the genital region.
Oh, how'd that feel?
Oh, scary.
Well, how would you think it felt?
Probably not good.
No.
I guess I assume that's the kind of a rite of passage for every kid to get the piss bitten out of them by a random dog.
No?
No, I haven't either.
I mean, one of my dogs likes to chew on you, give you a little nibble, but I've never been bit out of anger.
Jesus, when I was a kid, I had a Brittany Spaniel tried to bite my lips off.
for me.
Yeah, I mean, just another point is with the dog bite, you always are concerned, are they vaccinated? I mean, could they have rabies?
Oh, right.
That's a big deal. Usually if a dog bites you and if it's not documented to be up to date on rabies, there's a protocol. Either you need to get rabies shots or that dog needs to be in quarantine for a certain amount of time, just make sure they don't have rabies, or the dog needs to be put down and they look at their brain to see if they have rabies. So,
do they still, the rabies vaccine, is it still like in the belly button? Because that's what I always saw.
You
like,
mean where they put the shot?
Yeah.
The rabies vaccine is, there's the vaccine and then there's an immunoglobulin. Most of it's done like right in the area of the wound, and then they do some, elsewhere. But so multiple issues there that, and it's already been a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta go. Go be seen.
I'm surprised that somebody wouldn't just go racing in.
Yeah. I mean,
some of yous are tough. Some of yous are tough.
Well, someone wants to know, what about the other way around? If they choose to bite a dog, do they still do they go to the doctor or do they go to the vet?
Well, the person or the dog?
The person.
I think probably the person's going to be fine. The dog should go to the vet. The dog should go to the vet and put the person in quarantine, and
I can imagine you explaining that to your elderly veterinarian. I'm here because I bit a dog. A real popular question coming in for you this morning, Dr. P. Jesus, is this one. How does an Achilles tendon pop like what happened to the Vikings quarterback this weekend? How does that happen? And I think, isn't it known as one of the more painful things you can do to yourself?
It's pretty bad. It's the Achilles tendon. It attaches to the back of the bottom of your foot, and goes up and joins into the calf muscle. So that tendon probably gets more stress than any other one on the body because your whole weight goes through it, and if you are jumping, landing, pushing off, that force gets multiplied by however hard you're doing that. It's basically just in someone who's never had an Achilles tendon problem and they're in very good shape and they're very active. It's pretty unusual. If you're older and haven't been active, and then suddenly you are active,
oh God,
like people playing pickleball. Well, truly, I mean, it's unfortunately it is.
I bet
it is one of the most common pickleball injuries.
Oh, yours is gonna go, dude.
You play it so often. Have you seen an injury? I mean, because you're playing a couple times a weekend.
Oh yeah. No. I've seen 3 Achilles go. Yeah.
What? Have you? Wow. Well, yeah, because they're putting entire wings in hospitals now for pickleball players. It's so popular. It's crazy.
Yeah. We're all just gonna live in a big nursing home where we can play pickleball. But but yes. So in older folks who haven't been active, but in athletes like this, it's usually that they have some degree of Achilles tendonitis, probably for a while.
Okay.
So that from overuse, and so the tendon is not quite right.
Damn.
And
did anyone watch the slow motion of that sumbitch give way on Cousins?
Yeah.
Oh,
and it's also
I
up
did
on 93x.com.
Oh.
Wants to see it.
Yeah, I hate watching those things. But
you can just watch it disconnect and crawl up the back of his leg.
Yeah, and usually, I mean, people, it's more like, softball is another one where people do it because they will, you're on first base, you got a little lead, somebody hits a ground ball, and you bolt to second, you push off, and
you're right.
People will swear that, what the heck, somebody just hit me in the back of the leg with a bat,
right,
or the gun shot,
right,
because it just, and yes, it feels like that.
A few years ago, me and some buddies decided we were going to up and play a full-on game of basketball at like my buddy's daughter's high school graduation party, and we went for it. I can't believe nobody ended up in the hospital because of that
like you were saying, older folks who haven't done jack squat for years decide that it's Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals suddenly. I can't believe nobody went down skis. I felt like I was going to die for 4 or 5 days afterwards, but oh man, yeah, that can happen.
Yeah, I didn't watch it though.
And pickleball sounds like a perfect storm for that kind of a thing, doesn't it?
Have you had any close calls yourself, Dr. P?
When I first started playing, I strained my calves a couple times, and that was sort of a more severe version of that would be tearing it. In pickleball, it happens, I think, mostly. You're standing kind of back. Somebody hits a ball, you think it's going to come long to you, and then suddenly it like clips the net and drops short, and you bolt forward to go get it and be a hero, and that's when twang.
You go from backpedaling to suddenly,
exactly,
lurching
forward to lurching, and you have to just kind of. It's hard for people to train themselves not to do that.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dr. P, you knocked her smooth out of the park again. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, great questions.
Apologies to the folks we couldn't get to. We always have so many more than we can get to.
We always do. Yes, thank you, everyone, for texting in. And,
Very sorry.
Keep us in mind next time Dr. P comes on. I'll tell you what, we didn't have one penis or vagina.
That's a record.
Oh.
Weird.
Oh, you are right. I don't remember that ever being.
Not a one, did we, Josh?
Well, if you text in surprisingly, about 3 people text in about itchy testicles. Like to the point where it was a little out of control for a couple guys.
What the itchy testicles is going around?
Yeah, what do you say to that? I know we're running late. Is there a quick answer to something like that?
Too late to solve that this week. No.
Stop shaving them so tight.
Oh, yeah.
Let
Skin
it grow
problem.
out a little bit.
Yeah, stop scratching.
Yeah, let it grow. Change your laundry detergent. Thanks, Dr. P. Jesus. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, you too, guys. Bye.
See you
See
later.
ya, bro.
Well, he didn't want to stick around there, did he?
No, he had stuff to do.
Yeah,
He's probably got a pickleball time loaded up. Agent Cop Jesus wanted to shout out his hot wife, who he said also happens to be sitting right next to him. Nice. Congratulations to Kick Their Ass, Seabass, and his beautiful wife for their first anniversary yesterday. And he said the only one they're ever going to have without kids because she's due next week. Congrats on that as well. Oh. And happy birthday to DSI Trash Slangin' Jesus from Roadhouse Jesus.
Word. The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians. Apply today at standardheating.com.